All right. Good morning, everybody. It looks like we should be live and up and running. I'm going to go ahead and pull up chat here, make sure we're good to go. Today is a pretty major day. Tesla delivery numbers today. Definitely a big deal. Morning, Daniel. What's up, buddy? The debate last night was pretty amazing. I think it was really good if you were a JD Vance, Donald Trump fan. Sorry, I'm having some breakfast here. I am low energy today. I didn't sleep super great. I think my dog's 15 years, Jack Russell Terrier named Shiley, is probably going to pass away today. On top of everything else that's been happening recently, I'm ready for some chill time. I'll tell you that. Anyway, I'm trying to down the coffee. Still waiting. I'm looking. I'm using X Pro. I don't know if you guys ever use this, but I'm just going to show it to you. I'm going to let this run for a second. It might have to refresh, but I don't know if you guys use this, but and it's sized better in my other window. But just look at this. Like, look at how quickly it updates and feeds. And it does this across all categories. And so you'll just get updates really quickly, and I can see notifications. I've just started using this, but it's just another tool in my arsenal, I guess, to try and make sure that I'm on top of it. Hey, I just went by. That's funny. But yeah, it's just another tool in the arsenal in order to try and make sure that we're on the cutting edge of what's going on in the news. So we do have an ADP report, it looks like. Let's go ahead and listen to that right now. I'm going to go ahead and play. 1 second here, guys.
Good morning, Joe. Yeah, a little bit better than expected. September ADP up 143,000. Some interesting development on wages I'll get to at the end here. We're looking for 128. Remember, this is just the private sector. The goods sector did well, up 42,000. That's good for the goods sector. Service sector powering ahead, 101,000. Kind of reversing some weakness we've seen the last couple months here. Non-farm payroll estimates for for Friday, 150,000. That's up and around where you would expect it for the business, private sector, and the government sector. August ADP revised up by 4,000 to 103,000. Looking at by business size, small business down 8,000. They've had some trouble the last several months. They have been pretty weak, but medium business doing well, and large businesses up by 86,000. The bulk of the
All right, we like to see that. Large and medium doing well is all right, because again, my whole thesis is that we'll see small businesses do better as rates come down, because again, they're hurt most by that. So this is good.
Job gains in the medium and the large business. Well, where were the jobs where you'd expect them and where they have been? Leisure and hospitality back again, 34,000. Construction, 26,000. Education and health services, 24. And business and professional services, 20. But natural resources, the mining sector doing well, up 14,000. And here are those wage gains, 4.7%. Unchanged for job stayers, but look at the big decline for job changers, 6.6. It had been 7.3. That's the lowest we've.
That's good. We don't want people changing jobs. That puts more pressure on the labor market, which puts pressure on margins. So this is good.
Seen in quite a bit. Joe, ADP's been running plus or minus about 40,000 on the private sector relative to the private sector.
Also, sorry, I'm having like a really light breakfast. We have about 40 minutes until the Tesla numbers get released, so probably about 8 o'clock or right before.
Numbers from the BLS. So it's in and around where it needs to be. Anything closer under 50,000 is pretty good and is helping. It's about the best you can do, Joe.
All right, Steve, big number, obviously coming on.
I can relate, Manny. I've got very little sleep too. So, good morning Vietnam. That's classic. Those who know. Angelo Hunter, dude, love that you're early every day. I'm always tuning in. I'm low energy today, man. I probably got 3 or 4 hours sleep. My dog's passing away. At least I think she is. And she's 15 though for Jack Russell Terrier. She's 15 plus, so that's pretty much the end of life for that dog. So it just sucks. She's been around a long time. She's our family pet. So, but yeah, between that and just everything else, super tired today. All right, so Freedom Zoo, thank you very much for being a member on here. Let's cut over, guys, real quick. So we got some of the economic data from them. Let's just go over it real quickly ourselves. And I just need to update one of my screens here. This X Pro, guys, is sick. I can't believe I've never used this before. It's an amazing way. I mean, it's a little ADD and like fuck with your head because there's so much flashing on the screen, but it's a brilliant way to be able to stay abreast of what's happening. Thanks, Akash. I appreciate it, man. Death is a part of life. It just is what it is, but it just sucks. All right, real quickly, let's look through all the economic data that's been reported so far. So it looks like total vehicle sales ticked up a little bit more. If we zoom out, though, you can see how we're kind of below average, right? Outside of the 2008 great financial crisis, really leading into it in 2007 where we started dropping off. And then 2008 was really bad. Vehicles didn't really recover until like 2013 or something actually 2014 to get back to normal levels. And we're below those again. So it's not super great within that industry, but again, Tesla's doing great. They're not a problem. 30-year mortgage actually ticked up 0.01%. Again, there's some short-term hiccups and oscillation just from excitement and anticipation of rates going lower. I do think this is going to roll back over, but again, it's just a little baby uptick from where they were. So previous was 6.13, they were 6.14. It's not a big deal. It's headed down the right path. Deliveries volume greater than 1.5x last week to discover the theme. Okay, that's nothing helpful. All right. God, I love having that feed running. If you guys see any news too, if you could throw it out, it'd be greatly appreciated. Mortgage applications, negative 1.3%. Not actually shocked by this. We had 2 reads that were really, really good. Really on average, the best reads that we've had outside of maybe August, where we had a couple of positives too. This has been a really positive last month plus compared to what we were looking at before. So a little bit lower than the previous month of 11, but it's all within guidelines. Mortgage market index retraced just a little bit. Again, the seasonality is impacting this. It's just a shitty time of the year to buy houses on average, right? So it's no biggie there. That's all normal. Refi, same boat. Again, we've just run pretty good. Business confidence, 51.9. That did take a hit. What was the estimate here? The forecast was 53, and the previous was 53.1, and we came in at a 51.9. Tesla reported 8. Yeah, it should be right at 8, roughly 20 or 35 minutes from now. Yeah, it sucks, but what do you do? It is what it is, man. Shit happens. Just trying to keep myself alive long enough. All right, 51.9. So again, not absolutely insane when you look at averages here. Hey, thank you, Peter, for the 5 gifted memberships. I really appreciate it. So again, September, it's not in contraction for business confidence, and again, it's actually probably still a little bit higher than anything we've really seen. If you look here on average, it's still, and that's Mexico. I am tired. I keep forgetting I am at Mexico, so I've drifted into Mexico here. So business confidence in Mexico, not bad. Let's see what else we got here. So again, the ADP number. What about gross fixed investment in Mexico? How's that doing? I'm just kind of curious. I'm trying to follow these markets more. Wow, Mexico had a really good series of months ever since early 2020. Look at that. Way above trend. Look at that. All through here. They're starting to dip back down. But really 6.4. They're still doing well. Much better than they were after 2012, 13. So that's interesting. Still just watching a bunch of tickers fly by and different things here. It's a good thing my left eye doesn't work very good because it's almost overwhelming how much stuff ends up flying by the screen. I don't know if there's a way to adjust the timing. Might have to see if I can slow it down. And again, United States ADP employment. So let's look at this. So this is what they were talking about. Leisman was talking about a little bit ago. And it looks like we had a tick up. So let's just go back here. Historically, nothing too crazy, but the actual was 143K, whereas the forecast was 90 and consensus was 120. This ADP number, I think, could have a nice boost for today, guys. Good afternoon from Spain, says Victor. Hey, buddy. Junkrat was thinking the same. My MSTX bag is getting large. I think it's gonna grow today. We'll see what happens. We're only at 61K, so we did good with the debate last night. Bitcoin jumped. It jumped all the way up to 61.8. So it really liked what it saw in the debate. There's no doubt of that. That was a good time. But it looks like, oh, hey, if you guys could too add comments, I'm just going to put here. I love that this feed goes by. Please comment on the above post for visibility. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys can comment on the X post, I just tagged it there too, and I'm highlighting it if I can. Things move so quickly. All right, real quick. Yeah, so I highlighted it too. If you guys could comment on the X post and then share, like, all that stuff, it helps. Really helps if you comment and share. But what was my thought process? I don't know. I'm so tired. Let me read through comments. JD, Jesse, you can take a break if you need to, brother. I will be this afternoon, so I'll be gone. I won't be doing a market recap. I won't be doing anything else. I'm going to be driving. I'm going to lunch with some friends. So I'll be chilling. After this, I'm going to be chilling. And then I might have to leave a little bit early, depending upon what my wife finds when she takes the dog to the vet. So, sorry, I'm just like eating. I need some energy. Secret of Truth, 1.3K here and only a handful of likes. I don't know if we have 1.3K. We got 200, it looks like. But we do have a bunch too. I guess. Oh, yeah. You're talking about X. Some of those views are a little off. I think they count like impressions and some of that too. So I don't think it's that high, but it's actually probably pretty high. So I do appreciate you asking people to do that. Let's go back here. I'm going to let this grind away for a little bit. Again, really the big news I'm looking for this morning in the next 30 minutes is what's happening with Tesla deliveries. Bitcoin at about 60,900 right now. So not super strong. We'll listen to what these guys have to say about what the market thought. Tesla down about 0.36 in pre-market. PayPal down 1.47. I don't know if that's based on any news. Let's hop over and look at that real quick and just see if we can find anything. Just 1 second here. I don't think there's any. It's probably just general market conditions. Yeah, general market conditions, I think. So CleanSpark down 1.3, Iron down 1%, ARCG down 1%. A lot of things appear to be down today. Let's see, Palantir down 0.66 after being down 2% yesterday. I do think Palantir is continuing to roll over. I think that's pretty much guaranteed. As optimistic as people want to be, when you have that much insider selling between Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, you're gonna get some drops. Let's see here. I'm gonna get caught up with comments while we're waiting here. I might actually, let me just look around. I'm just looking around to see how the market's going. I'm going to probably give you guys the feed here. So let's go ahead and pull up the stock market and we'll put it in pre-market since we have another half an hour here and just kind of keep an eye on it. You can see how Chinese stocks did good. BABA is a representation of that. I do think that is running out unless they just continue with massive amounts of stimulus. And the massive amounts of stimulus just feed to everything else. So it's all good. Let me roll through here. Falcon Investor says 480,000. Oh, for deliveries? Hey, maybe. Rahul, Andy, good morning. Team Jesse. Seeker of Truth. Oh, you already said that? JD Junkrat. I know, right? Lowe's. Jesse, would you hold these Tesla 2026s for over a year if they aren't a tax-free account? Yes. Yeah, I think I probably would. I mean, it's up to you. Again, not financial advice. If things start to roll over and get bad, then I would recommend, I'm sorry, not roll over and get bad. My brain isn't working. If things do really, really well and you make tons of money, I mean, you do you, bro. Maybe you want to sell a decent amount of that and lock in those profits, right? So you do you, but if you can hold for a year, I think it's going to be a really good year. But again, economic conditions could hurt that. So they could start getting bad in the future, like in late 2025 is what I'm thinking right now. So just keep that in mind. Oh, I can't wait. I actually want to, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to do this. We're going to put Tesla on the ticker down in the bottom corner so that we can see what's happening today. So just give me a second here, guys. I'm going to enlarge this. We're going to do, because we're right at the two on the 30 minute. We're hanging on support in that range. So let's see here. I'm just gonna put this over here. All right, I'm just setting this up real quick so I can get this ticker going because I think that's gonna be cool. It will know right away too. Between the feed I have going over here with the pro account, sorry about that. With the feed I have going with the pro account, and then what we have here, we'll know really quickly when deliveries are going out. So we're just gonna put that right there, and then let me pull up my OBS real fast, guys. And then while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna play out what's going here on CNBC.
Out there more recently, but I do think that if we look at the big picture in the United States, the economy is still growing nicely, much faster than anybody thought that it would, and we have these
Here, I'm gonna go to
big,
live.
huge thematic.
Going live. That was a little bit past tense, so we'll see. It looks like nothing's up yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and work on the stock. Put it in the bottom corner. I think I can do this pretty quick. All right, guys, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we've got Tesla stock now. So when those deliveries pop, we're going to know it. Up or down, we're going to know at least the initial gut reaction. And then we'll see if CNBC comes back here. But pretty chill day. If you guys didn't see the debates, JD Vance, I would say, absolutely crushed it. Again, if you're down the middle, just looking at what happened objectively without a lot of bias, he crushed it. He did the best job. And then he brought up censorship and what they're trying to do, and Waltz didn't even answer it. Waltz didn't answer a lot of questions. He did a couple all right. Probably better than I thought he was going to do. But JD Vance absolutely crushed it, guys. People, you got to remember, Waltz just said, JD Vance is just weird. And then that was like the talking point for media. He wasn't weird last night. And so people went from having an impression of this guy is weird to this guy is pretty fucking awesome. So I think that means something. I think it really does. I think to independent voters, which there are a lot of, centrist voters, it's impactful. So it's going to be interesting. My phone still doesn't work. I'm not even focused on that today, though. I got a dying dog. I gotta do a road trip to get my truck. So the phone is just like the old one, kind of. It seems to. I think they just reactivated the old one. So my Samsung, if I maybe broadcast my Wi-Fi from my old phone, then I'll be able to use my new phone until they figure it out. I don't fucking know. I'm probably gonna have to go back to the Verizon place. It's a nightmare. But it is what it is, man. Like, shit. Like, life happens. And then also, too, I've got another car I've got to get towed today. So I got one towed yesterday after multiple attempts for my nephew. His car broke down the day before yesterday at night. I picked him up, brought him home. Here, I'm going to mute this.
Joining us right now to talk markets, deal making, the Fed, and what he's learned in the first year.
We're going to pause in 1 second. So I went to give him a ride home. I did that. Next day I went back. I thought the key was broken because it was a key fob and it was snapped. That I ended up replacing the battery inside of it or grabbing a new one, having to replace the battery inside of it, then finding out it's still not working, then buying a charger, then finding out that even after trying to charge the battery, it still wouldn't start. And that was after calling a tow truck, canceling a tow truck. Then I had to call a tow truck again, got them to pick it up while I was trying to work on my Verizon phone. And then in the process, I was going to borrow my mother-in-law's car, which is our car, because a lot of people use vehicles that I bought for them. But anyway, so that was an older one, and it looks like it's falling apart, and the check engine light's on. So it's like the last week has been utter shit, but I am optimistic that we're hitting a bottom, hopefully here soon. So, so the market has been like the least of my concerns. But let's listen here real quickly and see what's going on and what these guys' thoughts are. Yeah, JD Vance will be an incredible president in the next election in 2028. If we have another election, I think we will. I'm actually incredibly optimistic. I think the Republicans have won it. If you guys haven't seen the beginning of my video from yesterday about the election, I go over the polling related data and I let you know how much Republicans are winning versus last time, both within swing states and at the popular level. It's a big deal. And then JD Vance crushed it last night, which is only going to add as a multiplier. And then you have what's happening in North Carolina and Virginia and these states that have been hit hard by the disaster. And who do you see there trying to work with them? It's not Harris, it's not Biden, it's Trump and Elon Musk and people like that. They look weak too with the bombings that happened. They just said don't with Iran, and they did, and they used weapons that. But the Biden administration said that they could go ahead and start using again. Hey, Tesla's getting a little bit of a pop. I'm gonna look and see what's going on.
Head of his firm, Peter Orszag, is the CEO of Lazard. Of course, he's the former director of the Office of Management and Budget under President Obama. Good morning to you. I do want to talk
going
about
up from anticipation.
All that you've learned in the last year, but I want to start with maybe what you've learned or thinking about in the last 24 to 48 hours as we think about potential escalation in the Middle East and maybe some of these jobs numbers and how all of this overlays together on the global economy and our economy here at home.
Look, I think what we learned from the pandemic is you really need to focus on the supply side of the economy. That is the explanation the primary explanation for why inflation went up and why it went down. And these two risks that you've been talking about this morning are important, the port strike and what's happening in the Middle East. So I think it is worthy of the attention that you're giving it.
And therefore, what do you think the true implication is over the next several weeks? And should we be focused more on the port strike? Would you focus more on potential escalation in Iran and in Israel?
Look, a lot of this depends on, for example, with the port strike, how long it goes on. So it's difficult to predict its aggregate impact. Rough rules of thumb on the Middle East is every $10 on the price of oil is something like 20 basis points on inflation and 10 basis points on real GDP. So it gives you some sense of what we're talking about. Those are not catastrophic numbers, but they're significant.
And therefore, when you think about how this, and then lay the election on top of this.
We're living in a world in which, as I've been saying for a while now, you can't make business decisions without taking geopolitical considerations into account. And I think
Tesla's
the last
up
24 to
positive
48
on the
hours
day, guys.
underscores that. So we do have every.
I think broader markets are going up. So right now, it looks like Nvidia and just a bunch. This is good news. This is good news for the day, guys. I said this yesterday, but anybody that was buying the dip yesterday, good job not being a little bitch, because this is going to turn out well for you.
Everything that we've been talking about feeding back onto the business environment. Now, it's important to note that's in the context of a pretty strong economy, inflation coming down, the labor market holding up, and CEOs and others seeing through some of the short-term uncertainty to the underlying drivers of activity, including ongoing technology, et cetera.
Are you of the view, by the way, I mean, we keep talking about the Fed and what the Fed may or may not do in terms of lowering rates, and do they lower rates even more if we have a true supply chain shock, and actually would lowering rates really help the problem or the issue if, in fact, we know what the problem is, which is the supply chain?
So the fundamental problem for monetary policy is that almost all of the discussion is always framed around demand shocks, and that's where the classic what do you do when X happens kicks in. The Fed, any central bank is just worse off in the face of an adverse supply shock. And there's a raging debate about
Tesla
what you do
going up.
when bad things happen on the supply side. There are no
thanks,
good
disease.
answers. It's a short version of that. So I just
Thank you,
summarized
brother.
a lot of academic debate in one easy answer, which is you're just worse off and you face worse choices. So it would be better to have, this is an obvious statement, but it would be better to have a shorter strike rather than a longer one. And I think the Middle East is more complex because there are underlying medium-term issues there. In particular, the conflict between fundamentally Sunni and Shia states that presumably does
Geez, I wish this guy would hurry the fuck up and get to his point.
need to get resolved. But again, I think the fundamental point is the Federal Reserve just faces a worse set of trade-offs with these kinds of shocks hitting the economy.
I want to talk about the banking business, M&A, and deal making. But as it relates to that, one of the overhangs and clouds has been what this regulatory environment looks like. And I wanted to ask you about this. I don't know if you saw this headline.
Victor, it says markets seem to be kind of recovering pre-market, aren't they? Yeah, they are. They're looking good. They're looking good. We've got no major retaliation from Israel, although I would expect that to come. But yeah, it's looking good. I think the markets are going to like the debate last night and how it turned out because it helps Donald Trump a lot. It sounds like Micron's up too. Awesome, Daisy. We'll have to check some of that here. That's exciting. Well, so in about 18 minutes, we should get Tesla delivery numbers, guys. I think they're going to be. It's very exciting. And if that happens today's going to end up being a really good day for markets, I think. Again, I think there's a Trump multiplier that we're seeing here because of JD Vance's performance being really, really good, top notch, and I think that's going to be really beneficial. So on top of that, and again, I think that helps Tesla, guys. If you haven't looked, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are kind of tethered to each other right now. So I think it's incredibly beneficial for Tesla if we see Trump do well and Trump win. So it's all good stuff. I love how I could repost things in real time. This is so great. This if you guys haven't tried X Pro, it is fucking awesome. That's all I have to say.
Lena Khan is now apparently going to be used on the campaign trail on behalf of Vice President Harris. She's going to be going to a couple of different places, I'm told, with Bernie Sanders in some cases. Does this seem advisable to you?
I have not seen that headline. I think that would be a highly unusual thing for the head of an independent agency to do.
So it sounds like you think it's not advisable. I'm also curious what you think, as somebody who has been a longtime Democrat, whether you think that is a advisable thing for the vice president.
Again, I haven't seen that headline, so I don't want to be commenting on something that I haven't seen.
We're telling you about it.
I think
let's say it's true.
Headline where? Let's say it's true. Hypothetically, if it were true. As we know, not all headlines are accurate.
Okay. But if it comes from Andrew, it's true. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you right now. You would not say something.
Tesla.
Okay, I take your word for it.
I believe I was reading this in a couple of places.
Kevin, deliveries should be out, in 17 minutes. You guys are awesome. You guys just answer the questions. You guys are so great.
Now he's checking. Now I'm worried.
No. I feel pretty good about it. But Peter,
I think the regulatory environment is going to evolve because, again, as I've said many times before, the laws have not changed. The current occupants of the seats at the FTC and the DOJ are interpreting the laws in different ways. And the courts have largely been saying, especially on vertical deals, that that's not what the law says.
And therefore, you think no matter who wins, there's going to be a shift in terms of how the government approaches these deals. And therefore, are you telling your clients, go ahead, do a deal now, announce even before the election, it doesn't matter who wins because the environment is going to be different in 6 months from now?
Well, I think what you're seeing is that more C-suites and boards are willing to consider deals, even if it means that you have to litigate. So regardless of whether the agencies themselves change, there is I think, increased willingness to basically see you in court, especially on vertical deals, which is where the new big is bad crowd has diverged the most from, precedent.
And I'm just curious, in terms of your conversations with CEOs, when they get to that point and somebody says, well, look, if we do this, what's going to happen on the other side? Do you feel that there's a lot more courage to go do that than there used to be? Do you see a shift in terms of how CEOs are thinking about it? What do they say to you?
Yeah, I'd say much more willingness to do that relative to 2 years ago, let's say. But the environment is different than it was 4 or 5 years ago. So maybe that helps to calibrate the state of play.
And finally, I want to end where we started.
All right. This conversation's kind of boring. I'm just going to switch to live. Again, guys, we've got less than 14 minutes, 13 and a half minutes, and we're going to be getting Tesla delivery numbers. If they're a beat, you're going to see the market go crazy today. And generally, so Tesla's up 0.32%. You can see it in the bottom corner, guys, if you look down in the bottom right. So Tesla's looking really good right now. Market's starting to recover. ADP employment data was really good. So if we just hop over here, And look at that, a lot of good data. Honestly, pretty decent data coming in. ADP employment though was 143,000, whereas consensus was only 120 and forecast was only 90. So ADP employment data is very reliable because this is literally a payroll provider. It's automatic data processing. And here's what they had to say. They said, in the U.S., we added 143,000 to their payrolls in September, the most in 3 months, following an upwardly revised 103K in August, which is good. Revisions higher is good. Well above forecast of 120,000. Oh, 1 second here. Let me kill that. I don't want this volume. I don't give a fuck about that right now. Well above forecast of 120,000. Revisions up. Love it. Job creation showed a widespread rebound after 5 months slowdown, with manufacturing adding jobs for the first time since April. The service producing sector added 101,000 jobs, led by leisure and hospitality at 34K, education services 24K, professional services 20K, trade, transportation, and utilities at 14, and financial activities at 2. While job losses occurred in information, negative 10,000. So again, automation, I think, is kind of hurting some sectors like that. It says, meanwhile, the goods producing sector added 42,000 jobs, of which 26,000 in construction, 14,000 in natural resources mining, and 2,000 in manufacturing. Year over year, pay gains for job stayers fell slightly to 4.7 from 4.8. And for job changers, wage growth declined to 6.6 from 7.3. Steve Leisman was talking about how that's a good thing because we don't want job changers making a lot more money changing jobs. It's bad for the economy, hurts margins for businesses. And we don't have that problem right now. Let's see what else we have here. See if we have anybody better on CNBC. Oh, this is debate talk. Let's see how this goes.
I think it helped. I think there's a reason that factories are built here. But I want to grill you on something else.
Yes. I want to answer that question too, Joe.
You can, but Steve Leisman just said, will the free trader stay? He didn't say it this way. I'm saying it this way. But last night, is there any free trader here that's still around in the United States?
Absolutely. I'm one of them. No question about it. Listen, the free traders are part of the Republican Party, but more importantly, we've seen the expansion of the Republican tent. We saw last night J.D. Vance had a dominant performance. What he talked about was the fact that there is a forgotten voter in Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan, and he spoke specifically to them. One of the most important parts of being a good communicator is knowing who your audience is, and he struck the right chord for the audience.
It was so fucking good, guys. If you're watching mainstream media and they say anything otherwise, J.D. Vance destroyed Waltz last night, but he did it in a cordial, kind, clear, articulate way, and he controlled that debate pretty much the entire time, 95% of the time. It was so good.
Is that we as Republicans need to continue to attract.
And he called out Democrats for their blatant attempts at censorship. It was just awesome. They were trying to say that Waltz was trying to use an argument saying that basically, the whole like January 6th thing, instead of sticking in that realm, J.D. Vance started talking about how Democrats are pushing for censorship and preventing voices. And what we need is to be able to have voices and where people can articulate and have good conversation and dialogue together and to bring back some of that into American politics. And with Waltz just kind of attacking and trying to use that Trump card and then eventually kind of agreeing with Vance, it was just, and then the closing statement, it was so good, guys. So good. You got to watch it.
To our party, the Big Tent Party, so that we have 4 more years of Donald Trump and the majority in the Senate. I thought JD was fantastic. And the
I agree. 9 minutes, guys. 9 minutes till Tesla deliveries.
coach fumbled the ball early on in the game.
All right, but Senator, do you think...
How so?
How so?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm curious. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think some people thought that JD did well. Other people thought that Waltz did pretty well.
yeah, well,
Bullshit.
I'm not sure what stations you're listening to hear Waltz did well. Coach Waltz fumbled the ball at the beginning. He was nervous. He was focused on his notes
He
more
totally
than he
was.
was the audience.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance was confident. He was clear. He was consistent. He was in command. Coach had an opportunity to talk about
Can I ask you about free trade, please?
Yeah.
Can I just do that? Because you're saying a big tent. What does that mean? Free traders and protectionists? What is it?
It
So you're
it means that people who were better off 4 years ago want to be better off the next 4 years.
let's
and so
focus
you can look at the granular aspects of the policies, and they're very important. Here's an example. Wall said last night that because of tax cuts, we had $8 trillion of additional debt. That's hogwash. Because of tax cuts, we had more revenue come to the Treasury in 2018 and 2019. What we saw happen was COVID, which obviously landed a ton of debt on our backs. Waltz talked about this big government approach to solving problems.
Great job.
J.D. Vance said, we're going to believe in the American people. He talked about the TCJA, and it delivered for the average worker. Why? Because for the single mom making $40,000 a year in 2017, we cut her taxes by 70%. The bottom quintile, their wages grew faster under the Trump tax cuts than the top. That's the kind of performance you want.
Oh, hey, real metrics and truth. Democratic Party doesn't always love that.
If you're focusing on people working paycheck to
Are you a
paycheck.
free trader, Senator? Do you
Absolutely,
agree, you
yeah.
agree with all the tariffs? Do you think John Deere 200%?
Listen,
do you think companies that make stuff here should be a 15% tax? That's industrial policy, isn't it?
I believe that President Trump oftentimes talks in the abstract.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, I do believe that we have the final.
So what are we supposed to believe then?
Well, listen, let's believe his performance. Believe what we saw for 2017 to 2020. Well, let me finish because you asked a good question. What should we believe? We should believe that a 28%, 21%, reducing the taxes from 35 to 21%, repatriated almost $2 trillion from around the world, bringing it home. We should believe the 7 million jobs that he created, and
Somebody
two-thirds of those jobs went to African Americans, Hispanics,
Yes.
and women.
Question, though,
We should
that
actually
okay,
believe
here's
in
the
what he
question.
produced.
And we didn't have wars popping up all around the world and having people that do not respect the current administration because the last guy is practically dead and the next lady is mentally dead.
Yes,
That excludes,
100%.
obviously, that excludes COVID, right? Part of what you're saying is we should sort of.
Honestly, man, I think, Dr. Gonzo, I don't think it's the lesser of two evils right now. I think one is pro-capitalism and freedom of speech and smaller government, and then the other party is the exact opposite of that. To me, it's a lot more black and white in regard to politics than it's been in a very long time. Whether people choose to recognize that or not is 100% up to them. But I listen to Trump now. I used to follow 20-second clips and think he was Hitler. Now I know he's not that, and I know, if anything, he's the most likely person to save America.
Take this timeout period around COVID and not include that in
That's not what I'm saying at all. I would actually say that if you look at COVID itself specifically, they said that you couldn't get a vaccine in 10 years or 5 years.
No,
he did it in
I'm
9
saying on
months.
the economic numbers. And the reason I'm raising this is because when we try to do an apples to apples between the Trump administration and the Biden administration, invariably what we hear is, look at all of the economic growth during the Trump administration. But by the way, please don't look at the last year and then look at how terrible we say that the Biden administration did on a relative basis. But by the way, please don't even contemplate the idea that anything happened before that as it relates to COVID, right?
Let us ask the American people, are they better off now than they were 4 years ago? The answer
Fuck no. Fuck no, especially if you're in a sanctuary city.
is emphatically no.
Anybody in New York City think they're better off than they were 4 years ago?
Why? Because when the
we were
average
giving them,
family
we were writing them
is
checks
spending
with Donald Trump's name on them.
$1,000, $1,075, and lost spending.
Deliveries are out, 435. Really? All right, 1 sec, guys. We're stopping that. Let's fast forward here. I don't see any. Are you sure they're out? I don't see anything, man. It seems too early for them to be out. I just got 463 for Gergerbon. Tesla deliveries should be out in exactly 1 hour, he said. Oh, no, that's 1 hour ago. Are we sure they're out? No, they're not out, dude. They're not out. All right, let me turn this back on.
Also spending the money and having an inflationary effect on things going up. And the thing I'd say is, we heard this last night.
Yeah, it sounds like a bullshit link. It sounds like somebody's trying to push down the market. There's bullshit numbers every fucking time, unfortunately.
Housing drives the inflation in a major way. Well, the question is, why is housing 60%?
Oh, I don't think it's him. I think it's literally just, I mean, maybe it's him. If it is him, we'll ban him. But Marwayne, are you fucking with us? If you are, you're gone.
Higher, according to the moderators last night. Well, there's two reasons. Number one, the cost.
If you're not, cool.
Cost of construction, the snarl that we're talking
Yeah, I
about,
don't think it is.
goes up. And number two,
Should we not worry about
the inflation, the interest rates are higher because of inflation. Andrew?
Should we not worry about the port strike then?
You guys in the band hammer, we're going to wait. I'm going to assume that he had good intent and that he got it from somewhere else. Now, his name is in my head, so if something like that happens again, we'll definitely do that.
Oh, no, we should. I mean, it's $4.5 billion a day. The bottom line is when you have folks making $81,000 a year as an average salary up to $200,000, the question is 77% more in the next 5 or 6 years too much, number one? Number two.
Do you think it is?
And number two, the biggest part of the negotiations that is not spoken about very much is that they want to stop technology from coming in and replacing their jobs while they're asking for 77%. You can't have it both.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Asking for 77% in additional pay and then avoiding automation. Fuck that. Fire all the heads. Just tell them they no longer have a job.
Both ways.
All right, Senator.
And then see if the other people want one. If they don't want one, fuck them too. Replace them right away. Pull up some YouTube videos. Teach these motherfuckers how to move some containers around. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, inflation might be a coincidence, but you add to that the hotspots around the world. The whole world's on fire.
Absolutely.
And 13 million illegals. And I mean, you got to take credit for something. Or blame for something.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah, let's be nice to Marwayne. Lena was a dumb bitch. We'll assume Marwayne had the best of intentions. Okay, guys? I think I've gotten you guys going too much with the band hammer. I'm sorry. It's probably on me.
Sorry.
no, they've not.
All right, we're going to fast forward. He did a great job speaking. Yeah, that happens. Anytime before 8, if you see something, it's usually bullshit. It's just people trying to basically, first off, it sounds like maybe they're trying to short the stock because 435 is a shit number. Let's actually go over here. I think I have some of the estimates. My buddy, Curious Peggy. He's a goofball. I love this guy. All right, I just got my car insurance. It only went up by $540 this last year, only up 40% from the year. No biggie. Yeah, car insurance is fucked. That should be peaking, though, which is good, I guess. All right, let me see here. Curious Peggy, right here. Okay, so these are the numbers, guys, right here. These are the numbers that we're looking at. Curious Peggy. I told Curious Peggy I'm doing 482,655 because I think that's how this works. So if it's over 482,655, guys, I beat every analyst out there. So I just want to be clear. I am the winner. Actually, I think my buddy Dalton, he might have went a little bit higher. So I one-upped him by 1, too. Because if you've watched The Price is Right, it's an old show. The old timers know what I'm talking about. You know how to play this game. The young kids, they don't get it. All right. Sheesh. Peggy is cool. I love Peggy. He's good shit. Grok said 469. Grok's probably just referring to posts from a while ago. Let me look here. I'll refresh. We're getting close, though, guys. We're literally like right there. I'll be refreshing my screen. If you guys see it, I'll probably just let somebody else is going to do it. This thing, plus it's never consistent in the refresh. So I'm going to look here. I'm going to let my feed go. And I've got X Pro up. We're going to look at that and we're going to see what it provides and go from there. Did I do ads? Hopefully I didn't do ads on this video. Are you guys seeing ads?
Final check on the markets after you got that ADP number that showed a little stronger growth than had been anticipated, of course.
I'm gonna kill that real quick. Pecci's the man. He is, dude. He's a good shit. He's a genuine person. You can just tell, All right, so I'm gonna leave that muted. But again, these are the numbers we're looking at, guys. This is the stuff we're interested in. So, and I'm seeing a bunch of stuff just rolling through the feed right now. Nothing really too. I've got a search right now for Tesla blue verified users. So I'm only in X Pro. I'm only looking for a filter for verified users. It's updating. Well, the numbers dropped. There must be something out. Let's see what it is, guys. The ticker's dropping. 1 second here. So maybe it's less than expected. Shit. I still don't see the number though. Oh no, maybe this is bullshit too. I don't know. I can't tell. It's down 1%, but if you guys see any numbers, let me know. I'm going to go back here. So anything, consensus is 463. Anything above that would be good. Let me see what we have here. Oh, does anybody have numbers? I don't even know if we got real data. Let's see. Did somebody see it? I still don't see anything coming. Do you guys see anything? I'm going to switch to latest. I don't see anything. Oh, now it's up. We're going to fucking A. People are just fucking shit. Now it's down a lot. What the fuck is going on? We're seeing volatility today, guys. Let me see if Tesla's actually got it. 462,890. That would be a great number. That would be a great number. That would be right in line. Let me see if we got it here, guys. 1 second. I'm trying to see. I still don't see it on investor relations unless. It looks like if that's the real number, at 462,890 is a great number. Let me see something real quick here. I mean, that's right in line of market expectations. That is not bad. Let me see real quickly. I'm trying to see if anybody has a good post. If you guys have a good post on X, can you link it? One second here. I'm going to let this play in the background in case... oh, no, they're not talking about it. Let's see here. I'm just going to do this. Okay. All right. I'm just going to put it out there. Oh, yeah, here we go. Tesla Chan got something too. There we go. I'm going to tag that real quick. We'll pull that up. 1 second. Let me get it over here. And then my ticker went away. Shit's blowing up. And so we're down 2% off of 462. I don't even know why that would be. Let me get over here. So it says, all right, let me zoom in. I don't know why we're down this much. That doesn't make any sense. But breaking Q4, 2024 Q3, maybe people just got too hyped up and it's a temporary sell the news. It's very possible. Production, 469, 796. That's great. That's like 59,000 cars, more than last quarter. And then they delivered 462, which is almost 20,000 more than last quarter. So this data is good. I don't know. And again, it's in line with market expectations. So I don't know if the market is just digesting this along with other related news. But I don't see anything bad in this number. So down 3%, whatever. Let's just, let me do this. I'm going to back up here so we can take a look. Let's look at a broader technical trend and see where we're going to find support. We'll actually probably just pull up the chart in a second here. CNBC's talking about it too. Let's see what the narrative is on there. 1 sec here.
The number we've been waiting for all week is Tesla deliveries. We might have it. Let's get to Phil LeBeau. Hey, Phil.
We do have it, Carl, and sometimes those numbers are pretty darn close to the estimate. Tesla delivering 462,890 vehicles in the third quarter. The estimate on the street was for 462,000. So we're not going to see a whole lot of reaction
storage
in Tesla
deployed
shares
was
today.
lower.
This is the first time since the fourth quarter that Tesla posted a gain, a positive year-over-year gain, or an increase, I should say, in sales. Last year, they're roughly in line with where they were in terms of total deliveries. But this is the number that people were expecting, 462,890, producing 470,000 vehicles in the fourth quarter, or excuse me, in the third quarter.
I think it's the energy number that caused a hit on Tesla today. I know people like Curious Peggy were expecting a big number on energy, and it doesn't look like they got that. So if you look right here, so last quarter, and again, you need to be reasonable with your expectations, guys. Look at what happened for Q1 of 2024 with energy, and then Q2. It's not insane or bad to have 6.9 instead of 9.4 or higher gigawatts per hour. This is a good number. This is a great number. I'm willing to bet next time it's probably somewhere between 6,900 or 6.9 and 9.4, and maybe even above 9.4. But this is not a bad number either. But I think this is probably the one in the delivery report, because the other one was in line. I think this is the one that probably is getting people going like, what the fuck, initially. But I don't think it's a big deal, guys. This is all good. This is all in line, in my opinion. This is what we want to see from Tesla. Tesla stock will go up. Whether it takes a short-term retracement, let's actually look real quickly. Let me do this. I will pull up Tesla, and we'll look at the technicals on the chart, and then we'll listen. Before we do that, let's listen to dipshit Kramer here too, and this guy.
And we also have
then we'll do that.
The date for when Tesla will report its Q3 numbers, which is on the 23rd after the bell. So again, Tesla coming in as expected, 462,890 vehicles, just a smidge more than the street was expecting. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Hey, Phil, I'm going to bring you into the conversation we were just having because Jim was bringing up the idea, at what point does the increasing number of EVs actually start to affect the demand for gasoline? I don't know when we get to that point. I mean, we're at still very low percentages.
Yeah, sell the news, but it doesn't matter, dude. This is fucking great. It doesn't matter.
Aren't we in terms of ownership worldwide?
We're not there, David.
We're not, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven said, I'm more excited for the day when their other ventures turn car sales into a very small percentage. The market's forward-looking. It will front-run that. This is not just a car company anymore. Whether people realize that today or not does not matter. Let's listen to the rest of these idiots talk for a second, and then we'll jump in and we'll look at the chart, okay?
Worldwide, I mean, you definitely are seeing the growth in China certainly impacting the demand for ICE vehicles in that market, which is the largest market in the world in terms of vehicles.
Hey, do we know, is Kevin shorting Tesla, or was he long Tesla again after being bearish on Tesla? Do we know where he's at, guys, like mentally in his space?
Sales, but we're not seeing it definitely here in the United States. In terms of vehicles sold, it's going to be about 9% relative to the rest of the market. ICE is still about 79, 80%, and then hybrids coming in at about 11 or 12%. So you're seeing the slow erosion in the ICE market, but definitely not to the point where you can say EVs are saying.
The ICE market is fucking dying. Whether people realize that in this report or not, Tesla is fucking murdering them. That's all that matters.
Are telling people, look, you don't.
Yeah, they're an AI company. They're not just a car company. He's full carrot mode. Is Kevin full carrot mode? Maybe we'll look at that. Well, let's look at Kevin after this too. That might be fun.
Need to buy an ICE vehicle, and therefore gasoline demand is dropped.
Energy's booming. You're right. I mean, again, energy is booming. The only thing that happened is it's not as high as last time. But if you just average this down and got rid of the 9.4 and put it right here, people would be bullish as fuck. So it's retarded. It's retarded. It's totally retarded. But whatever. The market can be retarded for a period of time, guys. It's okay. We don't mind that at all. I actually think what we're getting ready to do, and we'll pull up the chart here in a second. Let's listen to Kramer too, be an idiot, and then we'll pull up the chart. I think the chart is setting up for a bull flag again.
Well, Phil, this Jim,
a short-term bull flag.
It's the last thing that happens before we start talking about autonomous and the big day, because I've got to tell you, Phil, the expectation,
yes.
We don't have a lot of things out there that I just hear people are so excited about other than this.
He's going to talk positively about Tesla.
Day. It's really rather amazing.
Absolutely. It is the thing that everybody is focused on for two reasons, Jim. First of all, we finally will get greater clarity about Elon's robotaxi vision. More than simply, someday we're going to have these vehicles and they're all going to drive us out on the road. We've heard that for years, and frankly, I don't think it moves the needle anymore. What people want to hear next week from Elon Musk is, first of all, what the vehicles will look like. And we've heard some things being leaked out about the possibility that it'll be a slightly different design, almost more of a micro car.
One sec, sorry about that. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about AI anymore. Nobody cares. Just because my car literally drives me fucking everywhere, nobody cares about that anymore. They care about what the car is going to look like. That's what people care about. Fucking retarded as shit. Oh, hey, James Stevenson just posted something. Instead of listening to this moron, let's jump over to that real quick. I don't even know if it's worth listening. Am I actually enjoying listening to Jim Kramer more than other people? This is Tesla's global deliveries, guys. This is still a parabolic fucking growth curve. This is a parabolic growth curve. Okay? I don't know what to say. Every once in a while, it does this. It goes sideways for a bit. Elon Musk literally warned you that the market was fucked and that the auto industry was fucked with these high rates. And the only thing that happened was this little tick from here to here, which is still steeper than what happened between 2008 and 2019. This is fucking amazing. People who take this any other way are retarded and stupid as fuck, and you shouldn't listen to them. Okay? That's all I have to say. And if me, Kevin's being retarded today, shut that shit off or go into his chat and be like, this guy's a dipshit. Come over and listen to Micro to Macro.
If you will, as one possibility. And B,
that's it. Rant
when
over
will we see
now.
These actually start to go into the market?
Hey guys, I'm going to play this. Just give me 1 second, okay?
I'm
going to find out. I'm going to find out what's going on with my dog. Just give me a second, okay?
Over the world, but in geo-fenced areas. And how much clarity does he give us in terms of the growth that he expects? That's what people are focused on. And then second to that is also, do they tell us, look, in the meantime, we're also going to be focused on delivering a lower-priced vehicle to the market. There is no doubt that when you look at the demand for the Model 3 or the Model Y, the reason those are so strong, so successful, is because of the pricing that they come at. That's where the market in EVs is headed, lower-priced vehicles. So if he comes out and he says, look, we're going to come out with something even lower-priced and can give us some clarity there, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the shares move higher. But the details on Robotaxi, that's what people are focused on.
Yeah, well, the Cybertruck.
Did he say anything good? I'm sorry, I was checking on my dog. It looks like we're trying to figure it. Me, Kevin, looks like he's going to cry. All right, that sounds entertaining. I mean, it's sad. I don't want him to cry, but at the same time, I want to see, this guy's just an emotional basket case. I do think he'll get better over time. He's actually really a smart guy. So it kind of makes me sad, the just like the spiral that he's going into
So
lately.
You're here tomorrow to ring the bell.
Oh, no. What is it? Meet Kevin Live? He's got like all these fucking channels. God, why do you do that? Let's check him out real quick.
Doesn't seem like it was that big of a surprise.
No, but this was a truly...
He must be long Tesla again. He does not look happy. Let's give him a like.
remarkably bad conference call. The other time I've heard someone withdraw guidance was at GameStop. Wow.
I want to see what he says about Tesla. So let's see this.
Enough to sustain massive overproduction. Very interesting, though. Again, Q's down on good data, honestly.
So successful is because of the pricing.
At least he realizes it's good data. You know, at least he realizes that. And also, guys, overproduction, I don't know specifically what Kevin's talking about there, but if we look at Tesla inventories right now, whoa, we just got a huge spike. What the fuck is that about? Model 3 and Model Y. Okay. Oh, it's probably just leftover. It's stuff that didn't get delivered that's leftover for the quarter. So it was trending down hard. And X and S are still down, but we got like this little spike at the end of the month or end of the quarter. Maybe that's what it is. I was just gonna say, hey, like they're coming way down, but we did get that spike, so we'll have to monitor that. But let's see what Kevin has to say here.
That they come at.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get that. The pricing is attractive. You know, it's just not a.
Yeah, so Cam Prog said, and remember, after Q2 earnings, people stop caring about auto sales, and then suddenly it matters, and AI doesn't. It's so stupid. You're going to get the narratives of whatever people want to talk about. It just is what it is, man.
Attractive enough to sustain massive overproduction. Very interesting, though. Again, Q's down on good data, honestly.
Yeah.
You were literally.
Yeah, the ADP was good too. I do agree with Kevin right now. Let's look and see what we look like for pre-market here. So all in all, kind of flat. Again, down in some parts. Baba and garbage like that in China is doing really well. Not too bad, though. Not too bad for the market all in all. I mean, honestly, not even bad for Tesla, guys. This is what we're looking at. We're still looking at an inverse head and shoulders. We could back test. Here's what I think is happening right now. Let's just look at the technical chart, and then we'll talk about the rest. I think we could back test. It looks like we're doing it. Market opens, maybe we even draw down to the 240, 239 spot. This will be our first legitimate back test of this area where we have the opportunity to hold support. And so 237, 238 would be a great buy zone for Tesla. I've already got over $1 million worth of it, so I probably won't be partaking. But if one were to buy, you would do it right here. 237, 238 for your strikes, guys. That is a strong level of support. Worst case, 234, 235. So if we get a flush out in the markets where people are rebalancing or they're placing bets, that's where you're going to see it happen. We got a gap way down here. This is not fucking happening. We're finding support on this downtrend. This downtrend, guys, was resistance going all the way back to November of 2021, over 1,064 days ago. So this is the real deal. This is an area where we will end up finding support. Just take note of that. Let's listen to the rest of what Kevin says. I'm actually kind of agreeing with him today, and it's good to hear that. I think he's just really disappointed. He's just my bet is he probably went long again. He's trying to day trade this shit, and it didn't turn out well for him, and that sucks. I get it, man. I think he's conflicted. He's young and doesn't have a lot of experience with this. And I shouldn't even say young. He doesn't have a lot of experience with investing. He just started picking this up during the pandemic. He was really good at real estate before that. And so he's trying to match up long-term theses and then be a day trader at the same time. And that is just full of folly. But I think there's hope for him. And I do worry about him. The carrot joke thing, I do worry about him. I think he needs to not drink. And I don't know if that's the problem he has right now. I honestly haven't been watching his videos for a very long time. When he did the whole carrot juice video that I posted on YouTube, I just couldn't handle it anymore. And so I stopped listening to him. But again, you can see, guys, like I said, if we zoom out and turn this stuff back on, we can see that a support zone, we could drop 10 fucking % today. I'm not going to lie to you. It would actually be ideal to test 237. So if anybody was looking to add more exposure, that's where I would do it, between 234 and 237. I wouldn't be too greedy on it either. If we drop 9% or down here to 238 something, I would just fucking buy. Again, I won't be because it's the largest portion of my portfolio, but that's what I would do if I was looking to get more exposure.
Going line to line on Tesla right now. Look at this. You initially popped right to, I have a line at 260.09. I mean, it probably should be 260, which is where we got rejected. Literally going line to line down to 250. Pretty remarkable. All right, let's see what people have here. Market moves are controlled by the deep state. Okay. Let's see. Somebody says, I took a loss yesterday. I'm downsizing today. Keep it light for the rest of the week. Well, good luck on the trades today. It technically missed deliveries. There are a lot of people who are...
Kevin just looks really tired. He used to be so much fun. Did you guys ever watch him when he did the videos where he would like game sometimes on his channel with his buddies and they would talk about stuff, and he was like playing some shooter game like Fortnite or something like that. I don't know. It was just, or PUBG or something. It's just like, he seemed like he was having so much fun.
Quoting old
I don't
numbers.
get that take anymore.
You have to realize estimates for deliveries are revised constantly. Constantly revised and revised. And they're revised, quite frankly, probably
NVIDIA
up
dumping?
to, last night or even theoretically this morning.
NVIDIA.
And so, like, for example, I tweeted, and this guy quote tweets some other person whom I don't know, and he says, "Where do you get your information from, little boy?" And he's basically trying to argue that, here, beating Wall Street consensus of 461.9, but the latest estimate, which I post here, is 463.897. So, like, some people in the cult are going to go, "Oh, they beat." But then when you actually look at what the...
God, he is so intense. He does seem like he's getting a little flustered. So NVIDIA actually looks like it's probably finding support, in all honesty. This looks good for NVIDIA. NVIDIA has probably found the bottom. Now, I don't think NVIDIA is really going to outperform a lot in the months and quarters ahead because it's a $3 trillion company or $2.87 trillion. And to double in size, it's got to go up to almost like $6 trillion. It's insane. Yeah, 1,000 cars up or down, Victor, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't matter. It's a stupid thing. It really doesn't matter at all. Let me do this. I want to get back to live here, but I'm going to mute this. I just want to keep that on there. I'm still going to listen to Kevin a little bit longer.
Last consensus read was missed. I don't care. I actually think the numbers were good.
But again, guys, 238, 239, all the way down to 234. That's the golden zone for buying. If you're going to buy, do it around there.
Like, I want to be clear.
And maybe even pick some up here. I mean, it's down like almost 5%. That ain't bad either.
About that. I think the numbers are good.
I agree.
But people get so
He's right.
sensitive because they lack reason. They're irrational because they're
He's so angry at all of his followers lately.
overexposed to one stock. Gall is back with a $10 donation to suggest we're forming a Head and Shoulders. Get ready for a big or a drop. Little recovery, like in every recession. Mark my words, this is a global issue. Debt issue will play a role. Ooh. Somebody says, Q's going to run today. They will pump until the collapse. So...
I'm going to speed him up.
25, no cuts being priced in when 50 was set. Yes. Yes, I do think the markets are unpricing.
He does seem a little carroty because I got him at 1.5x and he's still a little slow.
A 50 rate cut. But, I mean, frankly, I'm not, like, this isn't that big of a deal, the ADP. If we get 2 in a row like this, it's going to reiterate how good things are. All right. So what else we have here? Tesla's down about 3% now. Looks like it's trying to hit a floor here.
Oh, thanks, Justin.
Somebody here says I'm waiting for Tesla to go back to 150. I took a loss in Ibiza just to show Meet Kevin I was cool. Well, let's go. Ibiza, that's awesome.
All right, we might take a look at broader stuff here. I want to see, I do believe there's some more. Yeah, what do we have here? Who are we listening to? Matthew Fried, Nike. All right, so I don't know if I'm too interested in the rest of what he has to say. I do want to look over here, though. I did see some stuff happening on CNBC that I might be interested in. Let me go back here. Nike shares slide, Tesla Q3 deliveries. I do want to hear the rest of this about what they have to say. 1 second.
They're growing. And look, I understand people will sit there and say, it's never...
I think they did some comparisons between like Ford and Stellantis or something. I'm interested just what the narrative is right now. I use a Mac now. I've got a Windows for my 327-inch monitors. I paid like 15 grand or something for that computer. Maybe it was 12. But my Mac is only like 4,000. It's just a fucking desk or like a portable. And I use that for my 46-inch OLED and then its main screen. And it's beautiful, man. I'll never go back. It was the best $4,000 I've ever spent in my life on a computer. I was constantly having issues for people that have been here a long time. My streams would drop. My computer would crash. I would just be cussing like a sailor. I know that's uncharacteristic of me. It was very frustrating. But now that I've got a Mac, man, and my friends, James from Invest Answers, Tom Nash, and a couple of other people, they were telling me to switch for a long time, especially James. He's like, he was basically saying over and over again, like, dude, quit complaining about it. Get a fucking Mac. And my buddy, too, Tanner, was also from Future Invest was talking about it, too. And eventually I just did it, and it was such a good thing for me to do. It's such a better machine.
Going to be as big as the Model 3 and Model Y. It was never going to be as big as...
Yeah, right. Me, have I stopped cussing like a sailor? I'm trying to get better. I'm tired today, so I'm barely fucking cussing at all.
Those. And who knows where they ultimately get to. They've targeted 250,000 a year. I don't know. Do I think they get to 250? Hard to tell at this point. But clearly, they are growing their production and their sales.
It's almost like CNBC is changing their narrative. I love it.
Phil, appreciate that. We should also keep in mind the way in which rates are coming down for things that...
Oh, and I've got other Tesla news, guys, where we're hearing more positivity and like revisions higher and what people think is happening with the company. There's a lot of good stuff. Maybe we don't even break down any lower than we are right now, but I do think there's a possibility that it does.
That are heavily
We just need to wait for volumes to open up in a roughly 4 minutes.
financed, like autos. I don't know if you saw this down.
And in 4 minutes too, guys, what we'll do, we'll jump over to the portfolio and start looking at, percentages and how things are doing. Let's also look at economic data and see if we see anything else. Again, ADP employment data was great today, guys. I think there's just concerns on how, and the debate was great. If you're Republican leaning, you like capitalism, you like, freedom of speech, that kind of stuff. I think all of that is really, really, really looking good too after the debate last night. And I made a video showing the election polls and how much better they are this time versus other times. Michael Saylor cusses. Sailor Moon. No, my daughter loved Sailor Moon years ago. But it looks like for other economic data, what do we have today? So we got a couple Fed speak. We got a bunch of inventory things. Nobody gives a shit about those. So, and then Fed Bowman. Yeah, nobody cares. There's a couple of like Treasury option or Treasury things. Tax revenue for Argentina comes in tonight. I am interested on that. But tomorrow we got challenger jobs, initial jobless claims, continuing jobs 4-week average, S&P services PMI composite, all that stuff. ISM services PMI, factory orders. So tomorrow is like a big day. Tomorrow will be a big day for economic data. And then let's see here, heading into the end of the week is all the unemployment participation, productivity, all that kind of stuff. So the next 2 days will be really big numbers for the market and probably ones that are going to be very telling. We're about 2 minutes off right now from the open. We'll probably stick with the opening bell here. I'll probably fast forward a little bit to get
they
that.
interview some dealers, and in the words of one dealer, interest
And then
rates
we'll
have
look at the
stifled the market.
stock market
No one
heat
is
map
spending
and
$40K on a bike,
see how things
and
are going.
financing it for
Do you guys
84
have any
months at
news events that I'm
9%
missing?
interest.
And guys, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've been using, again, I said this earlier, I've been using Pro. X Pro. I don't even know if you guys know what this is, but if you look here, you can, and I've got this kind of shrunk up right now, but you can just search by certain things. Like up here, I'm doing a search by Tesla, and it's got notifications on the sidelines too. And this thing will stream in real time. It takes a second to kick off. Like, let me do this right now. But in real time, this thing is popping up, looking for Tesla, showing my homepage for who I'm following. I can switch it to subscribe. Can switch it to For You. I've got my notifications popping up on the side. I can like these things real quick. And then I've got my post, which I'm currently looking at for Tesla. Tesla Blue Verified is what I've defaulted to here. But I could change that as well and switch it to something else. But this is crazy, guys. Like, this is nuts. This is so fucking awesome. I'm going to be using it all the time now. I didn't realize just how great this was, but it's going to help me step up my game significantly in regard to trying to make sure that I'm understanding and keeping abreast of what's going on and responding to people. So that's happening for sure.
We're back in this era where if you don't have something cheap, people aren't buying it. And I've got to tell you, this extends to everything that I'm looking at. And a lot of it is these younger people who just either are tapped out or just a lot smarter. I'm seeing it even in food. I had McCormick on last night. They're talking about, look, if you didn't take price, you're okay. And then I had Jack Hartung, former CFO, now president of Chipotle, saying, look, not just Chipotle, but if you raise price, we've now hit the upper limit of what people will pay.
Well, look at Conagra today.
All right,
first earnings miss in 3 years.
It's happening. I'm going to fast forward. We're going to get
to during grilling season. They had a problem.
We're going to get to live, guys.
Frozen's still doing well, but frozen is inexpensive.
We're going to live.
These plans, Carl, it's a nightmare.
As a result of this.
All right, I'm going to hit the bathroom while we do opening bell, and then we'll go into other stuff. 1 sec here, guys.
3.5 stars, so it falls off a cliff. That's what we're talking about here, and that is why the revenue reduction as a result of this is so significant, Carl.
Let's get
these plans, Carl, it's a nightmare. So you really just rely on this. That's all we have.
Let's get the opening bell here in the CNBC Real-Time Exchange with the big board It's Standard Aero, an aircraft maintenance services provider, celebrating an IPO today. We'll talk to the CEO and money movers in a couple of hours. At the NASDAQ, Baird Medical, a Chinese medical device developer, celebrating a listing via SPAC. Speaking of China, Shanghai up 8. Hong Kong up some 30% over the last dozen trading days, Jim?
No, I referred to it in I listed my top 10. I'm seeing money that looks to be flowing out of NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon into things like JD.com, PDD Holdings, into Alibaba. It's almost as if that's where the hot money's
live.
going.
Let me pull this up.
Once again to Dave Tepper when he goes everything, anything China.
Although your preference appears to be for Baba.
We're going to do the watch list,
really
guys.
Cheap. I mean, even here, Baba's incredibly cheap. A lot of cash, very good company, really American financials. Anybody who really wants to look at a Chinese company that looks like an American company, it's Baba. And David, you know management there. Management is terrific at Baba.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Joe Tsai's been back in there, obviously very much involved in sort of helping to run the company again. I mean, take a look at just the 1 week, basically, on Baba, because it's extraordinary what it's done. That 1 year, that's all a week of performance.
I'm going to mute those guys real quick. I just want to point out a few things I'm seeing here on the charts. So we're seeing Hood up on the day, 1.4% for a second. Wow, it just jumped really quickly. So Hood, I'm going to check and see if we have any news. Iron's doing all right. Uranium is up again. Again, Chinese shit stocks up. MU is up. Micron, that's kind of nice, just by a little bit. Bitcoin's still at 60,787. I think we've got a little bit of hangover in the morning here, guys, trying to figure out what markets want to do. The data's good. Maybe markets just chill today until we get that really big economic data tomorrow. Again, for Tesla, be okay with the fact that this could dip into the 230s and look at that as a buying opportunity for sure. Let's jump over here real quick. I'm going to listen to him again.
At JP Morgan, who has not been a believer until now. And I think that he's convinced a lot of us, well, wait a second, I've liked Baba the whole way, but when I was in Italy, I did get
I think S and X. I think Guillaume, I'm sure I'm butchering your name, dude. I'm sorry. He said other models was a big miss. S and X must be doing real bad, assuming CT is around 15 to 16K. I think you could be right. I think S and X are taking a hit. They're kind of dated. The Cybertruck is crazy. It gets all the looks right now. I think the Cybertruck ramp is going to be incredibly important going ahead. And there will be people that will still want the S and the X, but man, they really want this. Did I get any sleep? I got about 3 or 4 hours of sleep. My dog is probably passing away today. We got an appointment to take her to the doctor tomorrow. We could do it today, but then she'll just be sitting inside of this place alone in a little cage until the doctor can see her. And so we're probably just going to keep her at home and try and, give her some peace and make her feel comfortable. And then some other people can say goodbye. So,
very curious TikTok from David Tepper. It was a little commercial. It was just a little thing singing "Baba Black Sheep," and my wife says, "What are you watching?" I said, "I think I'm watching billions of dollars being made."
You were. That said, the big four that I think of in China: Nike, Apple, Starbucks, and Tesla. Are they going to be beneficiaries as well of the stimulus in China?
Yesterday, you doubted me on Starbucks. I said that when you have a little more money in your pocket, you go get pumpkin spice. Now, I don't know if that's
I don't know if I did doubt you on that, did I? I mean, I doubt you on so many.
People today I was chided
on
by
so many things, but I'm not sure it was that.
No, I was chided.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are noticing, but Tesla's already bouncing off the 50. So that's kind of interesting. It's already nearing 250, which isn't bad at all. I don't know. Again, maybe the market recovers. I do think, though, that we could see just some flat, boring nothingness in the stock market today. Because, again, really big employment, ISM, PMI related data is coming out over the next 2 days. Those will be the big drivers of our next leg higher, I think. But Tesla down only 3%.
You think it will have an impact?
I do. I mean, look, right now, the long knives are out for Apple. But when we suddenly find out.
Also, we got the Mideast tensions. I think Israel's going to hit back hard. But really, only one person died from the massive barrage of rockets that came in. I'm gonna jump over here and look. If you guys haven't seen any of this, I mean, it was a huge barrage of of missiles that came into Israel. But this is very true. Israel before and after the Iranian bombing, that is so true. It didn't do much of fucking anything, even though it looked amazing, but it only killed like one guy. And this is the IDF. They found a bunch of tunnels where in the Lebanese side of the border to the north, Hezbollah was getting ready to do something just like what happened on October 7th. So they blew all of that stuff up. But let me see if I can find it here real quick. But the displays and the attacks, this is the one guy that died. This is fucking sad, but at least he was over quick. So that's one Palestinian dude who was just fucking walking, and all of a sudden, this bomb just fell on top of him. So it probably got hit maybe by the Iron Dome, and it just dropped right on top of him. And he was on a good thing. His life ended very quickly, and he didn't probably feel a thing. If you look at Hezbollah tunnels here, this is just to the north of Israel. In Lebanon, they blew up all these tunnels, and you can see by the explosions, they're very powerful. So there's nothing surviving in these tunnels. They cleared them out real good. And then also, if you guys haven't seen the barrage, I mean, this was it. Imagine if this was happening to the USA.
Wow.
Would you guys, if this was happening in your country, would you guys want to retaliate? I don't know. I can tell you if this happened in the USA, for the people that aren't here, we would retaliate. I'll tell you that. Also, Mr. Cold on X said, Q4 is always the best. Q3 and Q4 are historically the very best quarters that we have. And again, I think this quarter was good for Q3, but Q4 usually crushes it. And I think that that's going to be the exact same thing. I think rates are going to be down another 20 to 50 bips between now and the end of the year for a total of 100 bips. And that's really good for Tesla. Not the rest of the auto sector. They're fucked. So imagine living in Israel and seeing this. So it's a pretty big deal, and there were some other videos that were just really intense looking. I don't know if I can find any of them real quickly, but there were some videos that were very intense looking. It was a huge barrage. But again, in the end, the only person killed was that one guy, this one guy right here. I won't show that again because it was pretty brutal, but that was the only guy killed in Israel, or on the edge of Israel, and it was a Palestinian man. And you can see here that the Palestinians were celebrating, screaming Allah Akbar because they were so excited. But in reality, only one Palestinian man had died. And then if we go back here, I mean, this is what was happening to Israel yesterday, guys. What would you think if this was your country? What would you think if that was your country? And there's some scenes that were just insane where you could see just tons of rockets. Oh, right here. Look at this. Look at this. This is imagine this is your country. Imagine this is your country.
Yo,
Just look at all that. Like, you wouldn't be very happy, right? So that is going to be a major escalation. I still think that that's going to be a major escalation, and that's why I bring it up. I think there's a very high chance that we see retaliation. Israel has had a rule for a very, very long time, going back to before I was probably even born, that if they get hit, they hit back twice as hard because they want to make sure that they never get hit again. And it's how they've been able to survive as a very small minority in a region that is mostly hostile towards it. That wasn't so much years ago in the 80s, 90s. There was hostilities, but it was tame compared to today. It's quite a bit worse today, but yeah. So they're definitely gonna retaliate. They're definitely gonna retaliate. And then Netanyahu's speech, I saw that yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was a great speech. I'm gonna show that real quick. Again, I know this is political. Some of you can't stomach anything that doesn't agree with your own very strong beliefs. But you're going to listen to it anyway, or you're going to leave. Oh, and Tom Lee, we got to talk about that too. There's a bunch of other stuff. We got a bunch of things to get to, but here's what I want to show you, okay? This is what I think the real message needs to be in the Middle East. And Jason, a liberal, who keeps talking about wanting to vote for Kamala Harris even now, but said J.D. Vance did really good yesterday, it says peace on this one, and he's posting this. And I think this is beautiful, and it's only a couple of minutes, but I want you to hear it.
I speak a lot about the leaders of Iran, yet at this pivotal moment, I want to address you, the people of Iran. I want to do so directly, without filters, without middlemen. Every day, you see a regime that subjugates you make fiery speeches about defending Lebanon, defending Gaza. Yet every day, that regime plunges our region deeper into darkness and deeper into war. Every day, their puppets are eliminated. Ask Mohammed Dev. Ask Nasrallah. There is nowhere in the Middle East Israel cannot reach. There's nowhere we will not go to protect our people and protect our country. With every passing moment, the regime is bringing you, the noble Persian people, closer to the abyss. The vast majority of Iranians know their regime doesn't care a whit about them. If it did care, if it cared about you, it would stop wasting billions of dollars on futile wars across the Middle East. It would start improving your lives. Imagine if all the vast money the regime wasted on nuclear weapons and foreign wars were invested in your children's education and improving your health care and building your nation's infrastructure.
Hey, Abul, WZ. So answer this, man. What about that? Why in the Middle East? Why in the Middle East is radical Islam with Hezbollah and Hamas and these organizations funded by Qatar? Why don't they want fucking peace? Why do they spend their money on attacking Israel, a minority people in a small region of the Middle East? Why do they do that when they could actually take care of their own people and benefit their own society? Abul, can you tell me? Please tell me. Tell me why they attack Israel, the minority, the much smaller population, a minority that makes up. I mean, what is Israel's population in the world? It's the Jews are such a small amount of people. Why the fuck is Iran? Why are the Gazans ready to murder Jews all the time? And why does Egypt have a border that is so heavily militarized? Why don't they let these Palestinians into their country? It's because they don't want terrorists there. I've talked to people all over the Middle East. And if you're not a hardcore radical Islam, these people, and the few Christians, I think there's still a 40% Christian population in Lebanon, these people want Hezbollah gone. They were cheering. They were handing out treats. So tell me, why is it important to attack Israel and to try and defend this little area called Gaza where nobody wants those fucking people in their country and nobody is willing to take them in? Nobody. Not one country in the Middle East. Not one Arab country. Why fund all of this? Why go after Israel at all? Why not help your own fucking country and people? Can somebody tell me that? Tell me that, Abul. Tell me. I haven't blocked you. Tell me.
Infrastructure, water, sewage, all the other things that you need. Imagine that. But you know one simple thing. Iran's tyrants don't care about your
Ashraf.
future.
Thank you.
But you do. When Iran is finally free.
And so this guy right here is throwing out a fig leaf, and he's saying, we want to be friends with the Iranian people. We want to live in peace with each other. In Saudi Arabia is one country that really is honestly the most West, I feel like, in the entire region nowadays. They let women drive. It's just a different world. And Lebanon, again, I'd say there's parts of the Middle East where people just want to live their fucking lives. Okay? They just want to live their lives. They're tired of all the death and destruction. It's these archaic assholes that keep sending them back. And he's trying to throw out a fig leaf and say, there's tough days ahead, but we want to stand with you and we want to be friends with you and in the future. And I love that. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see continued death and carnage from people that radicalize and look towards a religion of hate. And I'm not saying the religion is all that way, but the interpretation definitely fucking is for a lot of these people. And it's not good, okay? It's not good at all. And so, again, watch the rest of this video if you want, but essentially what he talks about is wanting to basically find peace with Iran. And there are so many people in Iran that would love to be a part of the West, that people that don't want to wear hijabs, people that just want to be normal, but they won't let that fucking happen, okay? They won't let that happen. You can't be free in these places. And the weird part is the same assholes in this country that don't want us to be free anymore are the ones that support these assholes. So fuck all that. Fuck all that bullshit. Learn about the Middle East. Try and understand it. Listen to people in here that actually are in the Middle East and know what they're talking about and that don't support radical Islam. Listen to those fucking people. Only one side has been looking for a peace agreement, and it's not your greatest ally. Look into Israel's history. You know what, Kevin? You're gonna get fucking blocked. If you guys support terrorism more than you do democracy and capitalism and freedom of speech, get the fuck out of my chat. Unsubscribe to all my shit. I don't fucking want you here. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Leave. Leave. Go fuck yourself. That's my response. All right, let's get back to it. Do not fuck with me today. That's my response. Don't fuck with me. All right, let's look here what we got for big bookmarks. Let's see how the markets are doing. Let's get back to it. Sorry for my segue there. I just wanted to clear it out. We had too many people watching, so I wanted to make sure we got rid of a few of them. All right. NVIDIA actually kind of breaking down under support, so not quite finding it. Is there any, let me just push this a little bit higher. Let me see if there's any kind of real, if you kind of line this up outside of the wicks and into candle bodies, you could maybe say, if you line it up into candle bodies, you could say that we're still finding support. We'll see if it will. I don't know if it's going to, though. All right, let's jump over here. Let's see real quickly, too. So I'm going to jump over. I'm going to go and look at the watch list. So Tesla down 4.85%. Again, guys, we could go down and find support right down here. I think it's very possible. Let's look over at the watch list. I think the market's getting bouncy. Look at Hood is up 2.6%. What is that about? Let's take a look. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on with Hood. I mean, I love that. If Hood starts going up, I'll take anything that's going up that I have options in that I can sell and make a bunch of money. I'll take any of those. Oh, there was the one post I did today. That's probably what it is. Let me show you guys what that is. So I did this a little bit earlier. It's probably this, right? So just in, Robinhood Crypto now allows European. Well, that was 23 hours ago, though. That can't be it. What else we got? Let me do this. I'll pull up Hood. Let's see what we have here. Hood up 2.46%. Key facts today. Deutsche Bank raised price target for Hood. That's what it is. That's it. All right. Let me grab this real quick. I'm just going to do a post super fast just to make sure people got it, because I don't think, I don't know if anybody does. All right, love that. Deutsche Bank, target 27 from 24, keeps a buy rating. Analysts have an average outperform rating with a price target between 17 and 32. 32 is just where we hit key resistance, and then it gets better. So that's cool. Let's look over here and see what else we got. So again, we're hood is starting to get a little bit bouncy. Love that. It's nice to see something doing all right today. Let's just jump back over here. Outside of Chinese garbage, silver's up 2.4, oil's up 2%. Seeing some cryptos, Injective, a layer 2 on Ethereum is doing all right. I think it's layer 2 on Ethereum, or is it Cosmos? I can't remember. I think Ethereum. VIX is up just a little bit today, nothing big. Iron's up 1.42, Cypher's up. SoFi's up 1%. So it looks like some shit coins, a few miners, SoFi, Hood. Some financial stuff is doing all right. Dollar's up just a little bit. We can look at that in a second. It seems like the day's turning around. Palantir up 0.21%. This doesn't look horrible. What do you guys think? Kevin, Nick, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, all enemies of Israel. Look at UN meetings. Nobody outside of the U.S. wants to listen to Mr. Bibi's speeches. You know what? Yeah, I'm getting tired of yours, though. No, I'm getting tired of yours, Kevin, because I think it's completely fucking wrong, and I don't think it's a conversation that needs to happen in here. And so I don't give a fuck if you shit talk what I'm saying on these things. I don't give a fuck. I'm probably just gonna block you. So I just want to be clear. You're just gonna go away. So keep it up. If you want to leave, you're gonna have an opportunity, because just like Lena, your bitch ass will be gone. So understand that. And when I say gone, I mean gone completely. You won't be able to speak on anything on here. I'll make sure of that. You won't see any of my posts anymore either. You don't get my finance stuff if you can't at least listen to what I have to say and focus on what I have to say in regard to this other stuff. And if you talk shit about it, I completely disagree with your opinion. I think it's wrong, and I think demonizing Israel is fucking stupid. And if you're gonna demonize the West, and you're in the fucking West, Kevin, go move to one of these motherfucking places and see how much you like it. Go there. Okay? Move there. Move to Libya. Move to Syria. Move to Afghanistan. Move to Iraq. Live there and see what your fucking like is like, Kevin. Okay? Do that. Get the fuck out of here. All right. Onward. I'm going to give him a second. I'll let him chill the fuck out. If he wants to stick around, he can stick around. I'll give you a warning. It'll just be your last one. We'll give him a chance. I give everybody a chance. Plus, we're down to 358, so I've done a good job clearing out the viewership. Got to get those politics up so that we can lower the numbers. All right, let's see what else we got here, guys. Let's go into U.S. economic data. Oh, I do want to show for this from Tom Lee. Let's jump into that. Let me just expand this out real quick. If you guys have any other market-moving news, hey, Tesla is dropping. If you look down in the corner, bottom right, Tesla's dropping right to the sweet spot I was talking about. So we're getting that move.
Your outlook and view.
Getting close to the buy zone, guys. This probably isn't a bad one, but I think you'll do better when it's down 8%. You probably want to buy.
These are always nuanced to some extent, Tom. So last time you were on.
Oh, hey, Chris, what up, buddy? It's been a fun morning so far. I've only went off a couple of times.
After being pretty bullish on small caps through the end of the year, I wouldn't say you didn't change that long-term view, but you did express some near-term caution.
I agree, Ash.
And these people want to know, the people that follow you, the people that watch Squawk Box, they want to know exactly what to do every minute of every day. So it looked to them like you had waffled on your long-term view. And you're going to say the same thing today. I think near-term, you acknowledge that there could be.
Haywood says, the financial advice is $5 a month, but your political advice is free. Lol, go Jesse. That's fucking true. I give the politics for free. You guys are getting a bonus. You should be happy.
Some bumpiness, choppiness, but by the end of the year, you think 6,000 on the S&P.
Tony Ellenbecker, what up, Tony? Love you, bro.
That's right. I think we're still in the midst of a very tricky period because we've got the election in less than 35 days. And now we've got two things that investors don't know how to discount. One is, mounting tensions in the Middle East, and then a port strike that is potentially going to cripple the economy. And so I think that as investors worry about this, if we get a dip, and a big dip, I think you still want to buy that dip because the setup into year end has a lot of tailwinds.
the worst case scenario for the port.
He's right.
Port situation.
So port, Middle East, there's chaos right now. Election, there's, again, 5 weeks from now, not even, almost 4 weeks now. There's a lot of stuff happening in the next 4 weeks. So don't get feared out of this market for short-term moves over the next 4 weeks. It's not a brilliant move at all.
Is something that we've seen, and we shut down an economy already, and that was probably a time to buy. We know that. So we've seen that movie before. Could it be? I can't imagine it could be as bad as the pandemic, but we have shut down an economy before.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it creates headline risk because, you know, the longer this strike lasts, there'll be companies that miss, and so S&P earnings might get downgraded or some stocks might miss results, but that's all just temporary. I mean, those are just short-term headwinds because it doesn't change the long.
I don't know if it's in this one, but it looks like Tom Lee calls Biden economics and Kamala economics communism. So we're going to listen to this, and then we're going to listen to that.
Long-term outlook.
It's very strange that I don't remember any war that lasts, that where the effects, and we've been through quite a few back in the 90s and
Hold up real quick, guys. I might just go back and see if I can find this interview. If I can. Is it recent? Let's see. When was it? Let me go back here. Just trying to see if I can find Thomas because I want to see this whole thing. I like to have things in context. No, this isn't it. Okay, let me kill this. So we'll keep watching it.
In the 2000s, it never seemed to have as negative an effect on the overall markets as we thought at the beginning of each.
That's right. In fact, if we look at the last 6 sort of global wars or tensions, you almost always buy the invasion. The exception was 2022.
He's right.
With the Russia-Ukraine war because we were also in the midst of a Fed tightening cycle. So that was not a buy the invasion event.
But to be clear, though, within 6 months, Bitcoin had outperformed both gold and the S&P. So either way, if you have a longer time horizon, Bitcoin will win.
Other times you did want to buy.
Both Iraq wars.
Yep, both Iraq and.
Was the market, where was the market before that happened? Had levels come down, or were they trading at near highs or at highs?
Yes, this is different because we are hovering near highs and we're in an extended market.
And things aren't cheap in terms of multiples.
That's right. But at the same time, we also know there is a lot of cash on the sidelines.
Right.
Because margin debt hasn't risen for 4 months. I mean, that's pretty unusual with a rising stock market. And now money market cash has actually been rising at a time when the Fed is cutting. So I do think there's firepower.
All right, we're going to listen. I'm just saying with TradingView, yeah, Tesla's still falling. We're going to hit that 238, 239 zone. I think it's a given. All the way down to 234. It's a buy, guys. But I want to hear real quickly. So it looks like Tom Lee, now that I've started talking politics, the users are climbing again. It's funny. Funny. But yeah, so this one, talking about communism, I need to see what's said here. I need to understand the context of this. It's only 38 seconds. 1 second here.
Over the last 10 years, China has underperformed the U.S. by 7,700 basis points. So if China doubles, it's still underperformed by like 5,000 basis points. So, I mean, there's a lot of room for a rally, even if it looks corrective.
I think his phrase was something like, it's just a bad bet on communists.
He's saying long term it's a bad bet, but he's saying short term it might be a good bet.
It's not our grandfather's communism.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I hit the button here.
For a rally, even if it looks corrective.
I think his phrase was something like, it's just a bad bet on communists.
He's saying long term it's a bad bet, but he's saying short term it might be a good bet.
It's not our grandfather's communism. It's almost, I don't even know we need a portmanteau for what capitalism, based with communism is.
Yeah.
Bidenomics, maybe. Kidding, Andrew. Kidding.
Oh, so it was Joe saying it. And then obviously Tom Lee doesn't want to comment because he's got followers that are on both sides, and he has to be
over the last 10 years, China has.
He has to be a lot more diplomatic than I have to be, sitting in my basement giving non-financial advice. So that is understandable. So that's the appropriate context there. So I'm probably going to take that post out. I'm going to take that post out because it's not totally sincere in what the content is. Let's quickly, I just want to look here again. We'll look at the heat map in a second. Let me look at economic data and see what we have too. I think we were out. Yeah, we were pretty much out. So there's nothing really too interesting there for the rest of the day. Let me refresh over here again. So it looks like Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a bounce. Again, 2.5% on Hood. Let's look at Bitcoin real fast. 61,365. So it looks like Bitcoin is getting a bounce. Look at that. So it was falling off a cliff, got all the way down to the 60s, all the way down actually to 60,500. Nice bounce off of that. So this could be a W bottom. I mean, it could be. We'll see. We could grind a little bit lower, but this is, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. You can't really call it a bear flag. You can't really call it a bear flag. I mean, if anything, it kind of looks like a double bottom / bull flag to me, guys. That's what this looks like. You can draw things in kind of different ways, but this looks bullish to me. I think Bitcoin has found a bottom. I'm going to change this to red real quick. I think Bitcoin has found a bottom. This is good to me. I like this. I don't hate this at all. So we'll see what, Bitcoin 61,400. I think we're getting in a better space. MicroStrategy's turning green. That's great. I think we're getting in a better space, guys. I'm going to jump and see what CNBC is doing. I'm just going to get to the very end here. Let me go live. Yeah, it does say it's live. Oh, we got Ray Dalio. He's always fun. He's always wrong on China, too. He's probably going to be pumping it. In a nutshell, it all depends on whether the Chinese policymakers do or don't do stimulus, restructure debts, thus eliminating zombie conditions of their institutions, and B, lower interest rates below inflation and nominal growth. Dude, it is so much beyond all of that. It's just, don't listen to Bloomberg. Don't listen to Ray Dalio. Don't listen to these pro-Chinese people. They will fuck you again, guys. I just want to be very clear. Let me show you. I showed this yesterday. I'm going to show it again. And if you want to do a trade, like I can't shit on traders that want to flip something and make money. I would not. You needed to already be in this shit, though. In my opinion, this is dangerous now. And I'll just show you. Here, let me just go over here. I'll pull up HSI so it's got my full chart in it. I'll show you how dangerous this is, and then I'll get to comments too. So this is dangerous as fuck right now. And why is this dangerous as fuck? Because in a little over a month, we've seen this one indice go up almost 40%, 38%. Now, their markets are pretty chill right now because it's a holiday, right? But again, since July 29th, so August, September, so 2 months, 38% outperformance in an indice is not good. It's not good. It's too much in a short period of time. It is 100% stimulus driven. And China is not in a position to be able to do that unlimited without major repercussions. Okay? So now we're up to levels that, again, if we're looking here, it's kind of the median of what's happened going all the way back to 2007. And it's only down 33% in what? How many fucking years? 16, 17 years. It's down 33%. So when you look at this failing economy and you look like at some of the stats that I've shown you, and maybe I need to show more so you guys understand, this is not the kind of economy that you want to be placing long-term bets in. Please to God, don't do it. Not financial advice, but I just don't want people that follow me to get wrecked. It's why I don't talk about these things. It's why I don't talk about them. Oh, hey, we've got an IMF director on China talking. I want to see what that's about.
Restructure bad debts. It creates worse.
I want to hear what they're saying about Chinese stocks with Ray Dalio and all this. I'm sure it's a fucking disaster. But let's see. Oh, Druckenmiller too. Yeah, so we've had a couple of people that are pushing China pretty hard. Tapper's one of them. Or David Tepper, sorry. My bad. I'm tired.
All of the good news lately about the stimulus, both monetary and fiscal, from China's government. Look at Hong Kong. Remember, China, Shanghai is closed, but we saw another 6% move up. Look at the week-to-date performance, up almost 9%. The property developers, interestingly enough, which has been the source of pain, coming back. Yes, we know that the positions are an issue here, right? A lot of short covering. Everybody was on one side of the trade against China. So that it magnifies the moves, but there also is some real optimism out there. But not from everyone. Did you see the Stan Druckenmiller quote yesterday? He was speaking at a conference, and he said that he's actually staying away from China. He said that even if Chinese equities got a significant amount, go up a significant amount.
I love that Druckenmiller is saying, not Drunkenmiller, that would be called me Kevin, but I love that Druckenmiller is saying that he's staying away. I have such huge respect for him, so it makes me happy. Tepper likes to trade. This is an investor, and so I like this.
He said he has no interest in it unless there's a change of power at the top and a shift
100.
in the communist policies. Basically, he said as long as Xi Jinping is in charge. So highlighting maybe one of the risks there. Ray Dalio also publishing, and I always look to him on China because he's been an investor in that country for a long time. He said they need to have a beautiful deleveraging if they're serious. He said this was a consequential week, but in a nutshell, he said it depends whether policymakers in China do or do not simultaneously restructure bad debts, thus eliminating zombie conditions on their institutions, and lower interest rates below inflation and nominal growth rates, he says, which does feel like they're doing, or if that proves impossible, monetize.
Kobe says, brother, thank you for your support for Israel. It's that simple. If you support terrorist organizations, you're simply a terrorist too. Yeah, again, if you can just gloss over what happened on October 7th and the fact that Israel, after the Hamas overthrew the PLA, the Palestinian Authority, do any of you people that are so in love with the Free Palestine movement, do you guys even know the history of this region? But after they murdered all of these people in the PLA and then took over power, Israel let them basically kind of have autonomy. And Israel wasn't murdering a bunch of Palestinians every day. That's not what happened. And then one day they woke up and their people were being butchered. Little babies were being burned alive. Little girls were being raped. Little boys were being sodomized. If you guys support that shit, fuck you. Fuck you. And that's my answer. So yeah, Kobe, you got my support. You guys always have my support.
Debt to get the rates below the inflation and nominal growth rates while weakening the currency to devalue the debt. Bottom line.
And yeah, you guys show me where Israelis, again, they're dropping bombs because they're in a war now, okay? That's what happens in war. You have strategic targets. Do these people know that they do something called tapping, where they try and drop pamphlets and drop like a small amount of ammunition on the top of buildings before they bring them down to let people know to get the fuck out? But you know what the Gazans are taught at a very young age, that it's good to be a martyr and to die for the cause. And so I literally listened to fathers and mothers say that they were going to stay in the fucking building that was about to get bombed with their children so that they could die for the cause. That is insane. That is insane. What rational human being would sacrifice their babies for some bullshit cause? Fuck those people. They're animals.
He said this could be as big of a week for China, or last week after they announced all these moves, as when Mario Draghi, remember, said whatever it takes, put a floor under the euro during the time of the crisis when everyone was worried about breakup. But he's really focused on the debt and deleveraging.
Well, that's the underlying.
Yeah, Scott, there were some killers in the JD Vance thing. It was beautiful. Dr. Karp is a special CEO. Yes, I agree. And again, Elon is too. And both of those guys are very much in support of Israel and in support of freedom. I love the fact that Alex Karp, even though he's liberal, he understands that capitalism and freedom need to exist. And I have utter respect for that. I'm probably more liberal and centrist than I am conservative. on a lot of things. But I do want freedom and I want capitalism so that society thrives until we can have so much in the way of robotics and autonomy where everybody's just doing a lot better. People are doing better now, guys, than they were 100 years ago. There's reasons for that, okay? Keynesian economics served a purpose for a while, and capitalism definitely serves a huge one, and people need to realize that.
Lying issue, and the question is whether the Chinese have done anything to really deal with that, largely in the property sector, whether it is the indebtedness of the municipalities that relied on selling land to developers. Obviously, they no longer do that, took on debt during that period of time, or the developers themselves, or so many people who are underwater as well in their homes. I mean, the amount of total indebtedness that may need to be written off, so to speak, may just be too big.
And while doing that, not inflict so much pain and sentiment on the owners that it creates worse economic conditions, and also get the right balance between deflation, very bad, and higher inflation. You know, we talked to the head of the IMF about this yesterday. She advises the Chinese on what to do to stimulate their economy and to get out of all of this. She's very encouraged by what she's seen so far. But here's what she also wants to see to boost China.
We also know that without very decisive measures to stimulate domestic consumption, to reorient their business model, China risks to continue to see growth rates going down.
There's no risk. It's happening. You can't have massive capital outflows. The West was feeding China for decades. China got cocky with Xi Jinping, and instead of embracing capitalism, they started to do Xi Jinping's thoughts, where he would write little books and sayings that people have to listen to every day, and they've got to pull up their little app, and they can raise their social credit score if they digest the bullshit that Xi Jinping had to say, okay? And then he had an anti-corruption campaign where he attacked everybody that had money that were political opponents against him, and destroyed them, okay? And then you have the one-child policy. And so now, just real quickly here, let's jump over to China. I always talk about the fact that I should show you guys some stuff. I just want to show you a couple of charts that are pretty fucking damning about China, okay? PBOC raises the CNY... Okay, forget that one. Not super interesting. We know they're simulating a bunch. We get that. China considers $142 billion capital injection into banks. Yeah, they're doing all that. They're injecting capital, right? All that stuff's great. Wonderful. Good job, China. But India surpassed China in weighting in the MSCI World Index, and capital outflows are disastrous for China. And let me see if I can find this one graph here. This right here. This is the most damning fucking chart for China. For anybody who wants to buy into China, look at this. Look at how many new companies are being founded in China. They destroyed their economy with COVID. They did lockdowns for over 3 years. 3 years. They destroyed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of businesses. There are vast swaths of China, especially in Shanghai. They persecuted Shanghai because it was too tied to the West. And everybody left. Everybody left. There is no more money. The capital is gone. They've got negative capital inflows now. The West was feeding them, and now they're leaving, and they're dumping goods to try and destroy other sectors. There is nothing left of China. China has already set its path in stone, okay? You have to know this. If you're trading in China and trying to make a quick buck, fine. I think that's fucking stupid. You do you, okay? But I would recommend instead that you take the Druckenmiller approach of staying the fuck out, because most of the money in China was already made, okay? It was already made, and it's gone. And if you want to chase this and lose your shirt, let me see if I can find my list here. Where did I put it? The HSI, again, 38% in 2 fucking months for this index. If you want to lose a bunch of money, we know what the trend is. It's been the same for over 17 years. You will lose. So if you like losing, go for China. And listen to the IMF. Well, I mean, even the IMF is bearish, it sounds like.
All the way down below 4%. So structural reforms that are reorienting the Chinese economy towards domestic consumption.
The thing is, they can't get domestic consumption because all the value is in their real estate, and they'd have too much. They have too much. You can do things like lowering interest rates. You can try and stimulate, but if there's no Western capital dollars coming in, and more companies are laying people off in China and moving to India or moving to other parts of the South China Sea or moving to Mexico or maybe soon Argentina, if they're all moving away and leaving China because of the fears of what might happen for political tensions between the United States and China and the rest of the world and the rest of the West, then you're done. You're just done. And there's nothing they can do to fix that. Even the stuff she's talking about will not fix the structural problem of having a demographic cliff that's the worst of any developed nation on earth, of constantly threatening Taiwan. They're not threatening Taiwan so much anymore, are they? You don't hear that every week. Now they're trying to pretend like they're friends with the West, hoping Western capital will come back. Who in their right fucking mind is going to put Western capital back into China right now? Like big companies, ones that have been leaving. They're not going to fucking do that. There are other countries they can go to and have labor costs be cheaper and then not have this risk, not have this political risk. They're not going back. China is a failed state. The only thing that turns them around is the CCP going away and them embracing capitalism in a major way that companies can trust. Because once the ship turns around and starts going to India and starts going to other parts of Southeast Asia and Mexico and potentially Argentina and other places, it don't come back quick. If you've looked at these big container ships, they're slow as fuck. So we need probably, without the CCP falling, we probably need another 5 years of people trusting Chinese government before the money starts coming back. Maybe 10. So they're done. They're done. The chapter is written. And if you don't understand that now, you probably will in a year or two.
Are paramount for China in the medium term.
Yeah, look at Hong Kong.
Continue to be
it's a fucking mess.
Engine of growth for the.
Hong Kong is just a disaster right now because everybody's fleeing it, and it's cheaper to get things across the river, or I should say across the water, the big long bridge. It's a lot cheaper to go over to mainland and spend your money, and so nobody's even spending money in Hong Kong, and it's just devastated.
World economy.
In other words, everyone's getting really excited about what China's doing, but also saying, okay, but they have to do this to get to the underlying.
Yeah, Elizabeth knows what she's talking about. The streets in Shanghai used to be all Western residents. The properties were expensive, but everyone fled, and the properties are empty now. She's 100% spot on. I don't know if Elizabeth has been in China or if she just really keeps up with the news, but she's spot on.
Issue, and her point is, like Secretary Yellen, it's not just fiscal stimulus, but structural changes in the Chinese economy to reorient them to a consumer-led economy where the Chinese consumer actually can spend and not save. And there's evidence, at least, that they are focused on their consumer, and it's why you've seen such big jumps in names like an Estee Lauder or in the casinos in China. We'll see if they follow through and start to do some of these changes, but there's definitely...
Yeah, people are just going to come back next week. Hey, guys, should we bring back those 10,000 jobs we took away over the last year? Now that China says that they're playing nice, should we move everything back? Fuck no. It's not happening.
Really a lot of excitement building in this trade right now, and it could have big implications for the global economy.
Yeah, if you get
the really good point, Casper. Casper said, well, Kyle too. Kyle says, and the smart and talented Chinese people will want to get out. They have been, dude. They're all over the place. Tons of Chinese people living in Canada, Australia. Border increases, I think, in the last year have jumped by 400 or 500% for Chinese people trying to cross over the border. They're skeptical of the United States. Some of them might be spies. I'm sure they are. We're not doing anything to try and filter it, but there's probably just people that are trying to get the fuck out too. They're trying to preserve their capital. A lot of businesses are going international out of China so that they can start to move capital into their businesses and warehouses and manufacturing locations outside of it so that they can save themselves, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. But yeah, there's fleeing everywhere. And then Casper said China seems so conflicted between the goods of the West and the ego needs of a dictatorship. You're right. If they played nice, even another 5 years, they probably would rule the world, or at least have power over the South China Sea. But they didn't play nice, and they fucked up their entire positioning. They played their hand too quickly. Xi got cocky and thought he was a god, and that's what dictators do. It's the dictator fallacy for a reason. Dictators, all they do is hear all the good stuff about how powerful they are. Remember when Putin invaded Ukraine and thought it was going to take 3 days to win? And then Elon Musk basically helped provide internet, and then the West and other parts helped provide military aid. And that was over 2.5 years ago. So dictators get told a bunch of things, and then before they know it, they're failing. And Russia and Putin are doing really bad because of the decisions they made. China's headed down that same path too. They were doing it together. During the Olympics, China said, don't invade Ukraine until the Olympics are over. So Putin said, yeah, oh, totally, bro. I got you. We're buddies. I'll wait a couple of days. And that's what he did. So he didn't want to take away from viewership in the Olympics. So he told his bro that he would wait and invade right after. So, I mean, it's very clear what happened. And we knew it was coming. Biden knew it was coming. He kept saying it was coming because their intelligence knew it was happening. So, again, dictators make stupid decisions.
That Chinese consumer going in a real way. I mean, you can see the impact it's had.
Benedict said, I lived and worked in Shanghai for 8 years. What Elizabeth says is 100% correct. This is an amazing international city filled with Westerners. Since 2015-ish, it has only gone downhill. I know it's sad. It's sad because there's a lot of really good people in China. But like there's 10 to 15% of the population that are CCP. And there's probably good people in there too. But they're used to this system of corruption and dictatorship, top-down approach. And it worked when they had capital inflows from the West. But now it doesn't work. And all these poor people, they're going to be fucked to the point where they have to overthrow their own government. And I can't imagine how painful that's going to be for the Chinese people. I'm not religious, but I pray for them. I hope to God that it's not like the times of Chairman Mao. I don't want to hear about 40 to 60 million Chinese people dying. I don't want to hear that. I can't even think about that number. So I hope it goes a lot better. But I fear for them.
And again, we've talked about just this last week in terms of the stocks, Sarah, but
Dom Tong says, you're totally right, Jesse. I'm from Hong Kong and recently moved to Canada. Yeah. Again, I do my research, guys. I don't just spit off a bunch of shit off of 20-second clips. I work hard to understand the truth in this world. And it's not easy, but I work hard. I listen to all sides. I just won't listen to stupid fucking people in my chat who don't know what they're talking about.
But the real question is whether it will translate into more spending for what is still
we're
going
looking
to
at
be
this.
an
Let's jump over.
export-led economy, but one that they have been hoping certainly would find its footing, which has been really hard to get ever since they emerged from COVID.
Right. I mean, and you can track the stock market underperformance back to 2020 when they sort of reopened, and there were these high hopes for reopening like we got in the U.S., but we had a lot of stimulus thrown at us.
To be clear, every time that everybody was getting hopeful about China, I said it was going to be short-lived, and I was right. CLSK will come back to bite. I agree. Palantir looks like it wants to move higher. I think a lot of stocks do, guys. I think a lot of stocks do. If we go back over here, again, Tesla beat up, down 4% still. Whatever. It says actually it's 5.72, so this is a little delayed. I hate it when the heat map is delayed. You'd think they'd still be able to get better real-time data. I'm in pre-market. Oh, okay, so I'm just retarded. Ignore that. Let me go back. Boom. Okay, it is better real-time data. Yeah, so pretty red. NVIDIA up 1% though. AVGO up 2.58. Really, the rest of the big dogs aren't having a great day either. And there's some sectors that are really getting hit. Consumer durables not doing so great. Tesla taking the biggest hit. Health and technology not doing great. I remember CNBC just pushing that the other day. Consumer non-durables not doing that great. There's just quite a few in technology services, at least for the big dogs, and electronic technology for Apple not doing great. Apple, I've been saying this for a while. They're not going to have a good time, guys. There's a real lack of leadership in Apple. Without Steve Jobs, they did good for a long time. They had a good run, and I still love their computers. I love my Macs so much. But I looked at the phone, the 16 Pro Max, and even though Verizon, I probably shouldn't have upgraded my phone on a day when there was an outage by the three major companies. That's probably why I'm so fucked. But the Ultra, the Galaxy Ultra 24, or whatever the fuck it's called, that's just a way better phone in so many different ways than the Pro 16 Pro Max or whatever I was gonna get. Once I compared those, I'm like, I'm canceling my order. So it's sad, right? Like some of the biggest innovations that Apple's done in regard to phones were like adding a USB-C port to the bottom of it, and this phone that I got, guys, has a 200 megapixel camera. It just blows away. It looks so much better than the Apple Pro Max, and that's their latest thing. It's sad. What do you think about oil? That's a good question. Where's oil sitting? Let's dial through a few things and see how indices are doing. Probably will take a break in a little bit. I got to see what's. I got to hang out with my dog for a little bit because she's probably not going to be here long from now. So let's look at the S&P though. I'll at least get through some stuff here. Probably won't do a lot of stock tickers today, guys. I'm so spent. I barely slept last night. So it's probably why I'm even moodier than usual. I apologize. I try not to be. But yeah, .618 still finding support on the S&P. I think this is beautiful. I think this is where it's at, guys. We already tested it yesterday. We're testing it again today. Finding perfect support off this level. This is it. The bottom is in. That's my take. The bottom is in. If it's not in now, it's going to be in maybe tomorrow, as long as the data isn't shit. If the data is shit tomorrow for jobs, I don't think it's going to be horrible. I think it'll probably come in line. Then if it comes in line, we're going up. We just are. Let's see here. Kyle Wright. I'm sorry, Shelly. Let me go back up. Carbo says, I agree with you on China, but it's scary as they may fall back on using military force against us or something sinister. I don't think they can yet. I mean, they have 500 nukes. Nobody wants a nuclear war. Could we go into one? That's always a possibility. China's not in a good position to fight a war. I actually think we're doing things to help them out with swap lines, just like we are Japan, so that we can keep their economy from failing, so that we can prevent that scenario. That's my current thesis. Manny247, there's Chinese police stations in Scotland reported. I know, it's insane. They had them in the United States, too. Elizabeth W., barely no welfare, no bankruptcy. What are you talking about, Elizabeth? Living situation at the bottom Chinese makes me cry. It is, yeah. Yeah, there's no welfare. There's no welfare. There's no bankruptcy options. They're working on some bankruptcy reforms. But basically, here's what they did with COVID, guys. They took their most brilliant, hardworking people, the people that were willing to take risk, the people that were willing to create businesses and grow the economy, and then they fuck them. And then their social credit score fucked them, and there was no clear bankruptcy process. And then they can't take flights or go on trains. And so you took your brightest and hardest working people, the ones that are the risk takers, and you destroy them in every fucking possible way and give them no ability to recover. That's China. That's what China did to its own people. And then you have all this corruption that makes the United States look good. They have no welfare. They're a communist country. Shouldn't they have a fucking welfare program that's better than the United States? We're more of a socialist government than China. They have no welfare. They don't help anybody. I can literally show you videos where somebody can't pay their bill and they're dying and on a fucking stretcher and they put them outside like a dog. Is that what you want to invest in? Fucking idiots. Sorry. Do you watch Candon Owens' podcast? She's investigating Kamala's family history. Many lies are surfacing. Yeah, I can give it. I already know so many negative things about Kamala, just about what her policies are and what she said she'll do. Which is funny because they always talk about Project 2025 with Trump. Trump's denied it every single time, numerous times, over and over again. And yet we don't care about Kamala Harris and what she actually said she would do. And then now all of a sudden it's changed. And there's been no questions about why that changed or how it changed or if it's real. We don't care about that. But the thing that Trump has constantly denied and never endorsed, we act like that's real all the time. We even talked about it last night in the debate. Waltz brought up Project 2025 again. It's absolutely bullshit. Everybody knows it. It doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Kyle Wright, Jesse, do you think China is a big risk to Tesla? No, I don't actually. So that's a really good question. So I think we know that China desperately needs Tesla. Okay, they desperately need them because they need the West to think that they're still playing nice, and so they need to be as nice to Tesla as possible so they can convince other companies to come in there. And Chinese people work really, really hard, like slaves. Some of them are slaves, right? Like if you're a Muslim in the Northwest, you're probably a slave, or at least you have people watching you all the time, and you need to dance and do your little thing to let people know that the Uyghurs aren't being persecuted. But Chinese people work their asses off, and so like Tesla, the energy section is already up like 65% created. Probably by now it was 60% last we heard. That was probably a couple weeks ago, really, that number. So they're probably even better as far as getting built out now for the lithium refining and all that stuff for the energy side of the business. I think it was refining, whatever. I'm tired, but they build out. They work so hard, and they've done a great job building it all out. And they desperately need Tesla. And Tesla can always ship these things overseas. And China's not going to stop them until war happens. China's not going to stop them. And really, it's probably closer to 20% risk right now for the overall company. And Tesla, I think, is going to build a lithium place in Argentina. I think they're probably going to do that in the next year or so, or at least talk about it and get it out there. And they're building all around the world, and they're hedging their bets and trying to eliminate risk. So I think it's not going to be as big of an issue as people might think it is. All right, NASDAQ up 0.12%, looking strong, guys. So we got the S&P looking pretty flat. We got that NASDAQ looking pretty flat. Let's look at the Russell. The Russell up 0.16, not looking bad. We've got gold. Gold is still pretty close to the highs, but not going up. That's probably good. Let's see what the dollar's doing. Is the dollar coming down? Dollar's still going up. It's doing what I said it was going to do, guys. Let me just draw it over here. So let's just say it's this. Actually, let's say it's looking pretty strong. So let's say it can go up here. But I think it's going to drop sooner. So let's say we do this. But the dollar here's what I love. The dollar is up 0.36% today, and the indices are not falling apart. That's amazing. Let's look at oil. Oil got its little baby resurgence here, trying to test up to the 200. If imminent war does not break out between Israel and Iran, and who knows, maybe Israel will hold back. Ugh, I don't know, man. They're going to do something strategic. I really think that's true. But we've got upside here that can get us to 79, or we've got downside risk in oil that could bring us to 54. I think the odds of Trump winning have increased from the debate last night. It's going to be interesting. Let's look at the bond volatility index. Again, bond today, creeping up. I still think it's going down, though. So I'll draw my line up here. I still think we're headed down. I think this is short-lived. I think our measured move here for this head and shoulders pattern, our measured move is like ugly as fuck. Right? Like it's down here. This is the move. Let's just get rid of this one. So this is the measured move that we expect. And could we get up here like towards this resistance zone? Let's draw it. Let's keep it there. But I think this is what's coming. 2 year. 2 years getting a little bit of steam. Just doing what we said it was going to do. I'll move it up a little bit. Yeah, December 2024, maybe the end of the year, we start rocketing down towards that 2% mark or upper 2% mark. I could see that. The UN head has been banned from Israel. That's probably the right decision. The inversion. Again, I've kind of said the same thing. We're just going to chop. No change on that. The yen. The dollar has gained strength against the yen. This increases the likelihood of the Japanese carry trade unwinding. But the good thing for us is the fact that we'd have a long way to go. Really, I should adjust this real quick. I should bring this back to here. I want to bring it... Let's bring it right about to here. This is a warning zone. And then let's also... I'm trying to update these charts so that you guys have the updated stuff in the Discord. But yeah, so this is what we're looking at right now on the yen. So I don't see any issues with that. That's not going to be a problem. Swap lines are open. Kind of flat on the dollar versus the one, so nothing changing there. I do think we'll get a bounce. Maybe maybe the dollar weakens a little bit more towards the won, but I think those days are almost over unless China just starts literally printing money like crazy. The ruble looks like it's getting a little reprieve today. Let's go. Oh, wrong one. Let's go to the put call ratio. this is, again, for people that don't know, this is just a bet of risk, right? And what I've said for a while is that once we get massive impulses up, especially ones that beat previous times, or have enough time pass, we have this downward trend in the put-call ratio, which just means that there's less people hedging and buying insurance and puts. And so you could see this one time where it misfired, but again, it didn't pass the previous high. But this time where it did pass the previous high, we trended sideways for years. This one didn't pass the previous high. But the time we did pass the previous high, we trended sideways for almost a couple of years. This one was like 3 or 4, 3 years, 3 or 4, 2 years. And now we have this pattern where we had this massive impulse up in 2023. And if it plays out the way it's going to, 2023, 2024, into 2025, potentially a 3-year time frame on average, we will have not a lot of risks in regard, and not a lot of people buying insurance. And so I think, I've said this a bunch of times, but I think this is what's happening. I think it's important to understand it. All right, let's just look at how the market is going again. We'll go over here to the watch list. And then I think probably after this, guys, I'll probably take it easy. I'm so tired. I might do some buying. Let me see. I need to look at my portfolio real quick and see if there's anything that's worth buying. If you guys have any major news events, can you throw them out there? Victor says, come on, SoFi, go up, biatch. Alejandro seems to agree. Victor Hernandez, Jesse, would be cool if you also did an analysis on the... Oh, yeah, you know what? I should probably look at the euro. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll do that. I'll try and add it to the list. Let me know. If I don't bring it up next time, hit me up, and I'll just do that. I'll bring it up, and we'll start talking about it. But again, so Injective up, Hood still up almost 3%, Cypher up almost 3%, DLO 2.5 or 2.78, Palantir up 2% on the day, nice. SoFi up 1.78, AMD up 1.64. We're seeing a bounce in the market, guys. Oil, silver, CleanSpark up 1%. We'll take it. Micron up 1%. I need to add Argentina to my list here. This is good though. We're actually seeing some market recovery. MicroStrategy up, Coin up, Mara up, Riot up. We're seeing some recovery here. This is nice. This is nice. This is good. This is good. We got a few indexes down. Tesla still down 5.33. Not a big deal. Tesla had run really hard, and it would have been nice if they hit more for their deliveries, but they didn't, and that's okay. We'll see what their profit margins look like. They probably took a little bit of a hit too. I think people are kind of expecting profit margins to be a little bit lighter because of the Cybertruck ramp still. Even though it's ramping great, I think Q4 is really something to look at. Again, I've got June 2026 calls, guys. I got so much time for us to hit 330 and go past it. I don't even care. Use this Tesla dip as a buying opportunity. I think that's smart, JD. I think we could go down just a little bit more in the way of percentage, but I think Tesla is the steal today. There's just no doubt about it. Tesla is the deal. Again, we're right near that support zone. And we could totally hit this, find support, bounce off of it. And then here's what we have, guys. This is it. This is the play. You got to see this. This is so fucking easy. Inverse head and shoulders. Measured move brings us up to the 490 range. But what is this right here? What's the short-term move? Well, I would argue it's this. I would argue it's a cup and a handle. And the handle is going to be formed right here. And the shorter dated move at a bare minimum is going to be this. So we've got an inverse head and shoulders that has a cup and handle on the tail end of it. And that's going to be a beautiful move. It's going to establish support on an almost 3-year downtrend. And then it's going to have a shorter dated move that gets us to around the 350 range. I think that's a perfect area where we start to hit some volumes over here. And then it goes higher. I think that's the move, guys. This is your opportunity. If you wanted to get into Tesla, if you wanted to add more exposure, it's already my largest position. But if you want to add more exposure, this is your last real chance right now. That's my take. Victor Hernandez, thanks. I will. It's interesting to me. USDD, Euro, my investments are in dollars and exchange affects me. Oh yeah, totally. I get that. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. If you're in euro dollars, it does. So we'll pull that up in the future here. I don't think there's a lot else going on. Am I missing any news events, guys? Am I missing anything? Again, no market recap today. I'll be back in the morning tomorrow. I'll be driving this afternoon. I'm going to be checking on my dog here and giving her some scratches and some love. So that's what I'll be doing this morning until I go to lunch with my friends and then make my trip to get my Cybertruck. So I'm exhausted. I'm just going to chill for a little bit. I love you guys. A huge thank you to all of the support I've gotten over the last couple of weeks have been rough for me. I've only started talking about it the last few days, but you guys have been awesome. And I really do love being a part of this community. It's not just me. It's really a bunch of you guys. And thank you for all the work in the Discord. Thank you for passing 900 in just a hair over a week. 8 days, not even, since we set up the Discord and got the X subscription. Only a week on the X subscription, and we've got 900 members. Over 900 now. And 665 in Discord, and then whatever is over here now. Under X, and I just want to say thank you. It's been a blessing, and you guys are wonderful. And I'm going to keep working hard for you, and you guys keep working hard for each other, and we'll do great things together, I think, in the years ahead. Okay, before maybe I really end up retiring someday, or slowing down my activity. But what I want to do is create a brilliant community, and I want to pull in people. Jesse needs a massage. I don't hate that idea, Kyle. I don't hate that. But I want to pull in a bunch of really great people, and I want you guys to find all the great people and have a community where when I do step away someday and I really end up retiring or doing a lot less, maybe talking like once every couple of days, not doing daily streams anymore, or maybe once a week or something, that maybe on CNBC, hanging out with my boy Tom Lee, that I leave you in good hands. So I'll be around at least until then, okay? I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I do think today is a buy the dip day. And again, after what we saw yesterday, I'm still stoked about everything today, guys. So I'm going to say buy that fucking dip. And you know what? Before we even do that, before we buy that fucking dip, I want to keep it real. I want people to remember one important thing. Tesla is not just a car company. Remember that. Remember that, or fail miserably because of your ignorance. I love you. Peace out, guys. Bye.
Optimus, the robotic humanoid under development by Elon Musk's Tesla Inc., is sparking concerns around job security.
This is not financial advice, silly.
Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Turned up to work and went to start my day. Was barely late, like 9:08. So took my coffee break. Then I got hungry, so I just stopped by the free buffet. But then to my dismay, I heard somebody say, "Attention, human, you have lost, you have not met your quota. Pack your belongings in a box, now it's over." Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. But I'm in management. I work hard every day. I need these benefits, health and 401k. How could they do this shit though? Where will I trade my crypto? I had a second monitor for Twitter. Where will it go? Somebody please stop the bus. I mean, not the fuss, but there's lots of us. And now you say you won't pay me to play ping pong because Optimus. I mean, who employs a damn humanoid? Some new droid for you to exploit, deploy to destroy your human droid. No lunch breaks, great, get a few deployed. Your time is up, human inferior to me. I'll take it from here, you're relieved of your duty. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. It's okay, human, please don't cry. You can always go and become a Twitter thread guy. Make pretty pictures with Midjourney on your new PC. I'll make some YouTube videos about ChatGPT. Sucker. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. I mean, I didn't even write this song. I just used ChatGPT because it's way easier. Holy shit. We are so doomed. Robot just stole my job. Robot just stole my job.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip. People love the pump. Yep. Got them lining up. Wow. See us winning, FOMO in and YOLO by the top. Dream of Lamborghini. Girlfriend in bikini. Front covered Forbes magazines where you'll see me. Oh, what? How? Price went down. Who will save us now? Felt like a hero. Now the fear is here and it's clear it's steering to zero. Yeah. Hands weak, bags heavy, and I'm ready to forget about already all the hopes and the dreams. So puke your position like mom spaghetti. I'm hungry and got long cash on the ready to just buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip. When there's people crying, that's when I'll be buying. Yeah. When they tell you their investment conviction is dying. Oh no. But the market's dead. Yeah. That's what TV man said. It's time to sell it, walk away and sit in cash instead. Pump, what? Price go up. Guess that's just your luck. Sold at the bottom of ladder, you gotta learn how to hold on to whatever money you're gonna earn and not get shaken out when they run the stops. Although it tends to pretend to the dips and the bends, you know the trend is your friend all the way to the end. So I buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Oh. Buy that fucking dip. Dump it on the top and spit. Buy that shit. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. Buy that fucking dip. Yeah. When it drops, better cop. Let it fucking rip.